Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
The state of the Cowboys? Not awesome. Hey, welcome to the show, Maggie Perloff. That's basically what the Cowboys did yesterday, Prof. It was like a State of the Union. It was like a state of the team in Oxnard, California. Delayed a little bit because the Jerry Jones paternity lawsuit that has now been settled, as one does. So they finally got down to football. And, I'm going to be honest with you. We're going to play a couple cuts, and we're going to ask you a very important question if you're a Cowboy fan, which is, of the three guys who need to be paid, which is Dak Prescott, Micah Parsons, and CeeDee Lamb, who is the most important person to pay? If they could only pay one, who should they pay? Now, that's the question. As far as like how the press conference went yesterday, that was specifically for those players, in my opinion. I thought they were sending a message to those guys. Listen, you got to work with us a little bit here, and we can't make all of you the highest paid at your position. And I think this was not as much for the fans and the media as it was for those players. Hey, listen, we cannot pay top of the market for all three of you.
Well, you said it, the state of the Cowboys is not great, but is there any real difference now than the state of the Cowboys anytime during the last 10 years? I mean, they've had a lot of high-priced players who've wanted big deals. Often they've given them that big deal. In fact, almost every time they've given them that big deal. But You could also look at it like, are we overestimating this offseason drama? Like, are we making a huge deal out of this? Then Dak, CeeDee Lamb, and Micah Parsons, all three of them just be there, and they're going to be 12-5 again? Is that possible? Why does it feel like, and the way you say that, if I'm listening to that means that they're going to take a step back this year because of this drama? Or is this just sort of working it out in the press as you're describing?
Well, I think taking a step back or being status quo, which is not making it to at least the NFC Championship game, I think is big changes are coming. I definitely think Mike McCarthy's probably gone, especially if they have a loss where they're favored to win or it's embarrassing or whatever in the playoffs. So I think big changes could be on the horizon. And every time you don't get to the NFC Championship game, at the minimum for the Cowboys, it feels like a gigantic failure.
But let me ask you this question. Yeah. Would you have not sat here exactly 1 year ago and said the same exact thing?
Oh, I advocated for Mike McCarthy to be fired the day after. I'm shocked he's still there.
So is this in the same crap we've been going through with the Cowboys? There's nothing different. They're probably going to be a really good team because there's players everywhere. And yeah, I understand all this drama, but at the end of the day, I think all three of those players we mentioned will be there, and they'll be 12-5. So
Jerry said the word ambiguity maybe 50 times yesterday. We're talking about the Dallas Cowboys press conference yesterday. And he was really sending a lot of like mixed signals because Jerry's 80 and age is just a number, but he was kind of showing, and I felt like he was showing that 80 yesterday. He did not look good. Once again, a 65-year-old Jerry, did you think that made sense? What are you talking about? Yeah, fair. He's been saying the ambiguity. He's been talking out of both sides of his mouth since Jimmy Johnson left. Yeah, and other places. But let's get to a little Jerry, because we are asking you the question today, and Ryan Botcher in with us today. Of course, Pete Bellotti, EJ is here with us on the Zoom as well. Good morning, everyone. If you could only pay one guy, and it's Micah, or it's CeeDee Lamb, or it's Dak, who do you pay? Ryan, if you wouldn't mind putting that poll up, I know I just also asked you to grab some sound, so do that all in your own time. Let's listen to a little Jerry from yesterday. First, this is Jerry talking about Dak Prescott on whether or not this will be the last year of Dak in a Dallas Cowboys uniform.
I do not think that this will be his last year with the Cowboys at all. I mean, it's pretty clear, I think. I want to say it if it hadn't been clear, of how much we appreciate what Dak Prescott has meant to this team in a positive way.
Okay, not 5 seconds later, Jerry also followed it up with this.
Believe it or not, in my life, I've had a lot of things I wanted that I couldn't get because I couldn't afford it. Now, have I learned to live with that in 80-something years? You bet I have, and life does go on. And sometimes when you get a bump like that, you turn around and do better than you would have had you got what you wanted.
Man, I'll tell you what.
There you go.
That's the clip. Whatever else Jerry says, that's the clip. And I'll tell you, guys, they're making a mistake. You are making a mistake if you think the grass is going to be greener without Dak Prescott. And we're asking you the question today, who is the most important person to pay out of Dak, Micah Parsons, and CeeDee Lamb? If you could only pay one, I would pay Dak Prescott. And I'm sure I'm probably in the minority there, but Micah Parsons, it doesn't matter. CeeDee Lamb, it doesn't matter. You want to see a great receiver with not a great quarterback? Look at what the Raiders are doing. You want to see a great pass rusher, a great defensive player without a good quarterback? See what the Pittsburgh Steelers are doing.
Yeah, making the playoffs every year, but because that pass rusher is so good, but yeah.
And losing. And not getting any further, and the Cowboys even get further than the Pittsburgh Steelers over the last 15 years in the playoffs. At least they've won more than one playoff game. So be careful. Dak is without a doubt the most important person to me to sign out of that triumvirate. What do you think, bro?
So it's obvious to me. First of all, if that's Jerry's money quote, I don't even know what the heck he said. So I don't. But regardless, it's obviously there's one Hall of Famer in that group. It's Micah Parsons. Like CeeDee, I hate to say CeeDee Lamb's a very good player, but he's going to get caught up in this churn of numbers. There's a million receivers with 1,500 yards. There's like 3 on the Rams alone. So CeeDee is great, but he's replaceable. Dak Prescott's the longest tenured starter in the NFL, and he's done nothing in the playoffs. Listen, I'm a fan. I think he's really good. He whoops on my Eagles all the time. He's great against my own team. At a certain point, you're just going to do this for the next 8 years. You can have 10 more years of Dak Prescott going to the wild card game. They might have to start over with a rookie deal quarterback.
Man, it just doesn't make sense, though, on the timeline. Because if you are going to pay all these other guys, where are you getting this quarterback from? Well, you're not picking top 10 in the draft because you're not going to be that bad unless something does happen to Dak Prescott and you might bottom out, like, unfortunately, the season they had when your boy Andy Dalton took over.
Well, and also the defense completely fell apart
crumbled.
that season.
You're right. Which I don't think is going to happen now. So,
where are you getting that quarterback? I mean, look around that division. Jalen Hurts was second rounder. You have they got Dak Prescott in the 4th round. I think the Cowboys think, hey, we can find something, and they could be right. I mean, you have to ask this question. I don't understand. Like, everyone has amnesia from after they got blown out by the Packers, and Dak Prescott basically threw an 8-yard pass over the middle that CeeDee Lamb could not catch. He just went off his fingertips, and CeeDee Lamb totally melted down. And then Dak Prescott threw a pick 6. Is this going to go on forever? Are we going to sit and have this same conversation every August till the end of time? At a certain point, the Cowboys have to go in a different direction. So that means different direction means, hey, we got to think differently at quarterback, maybe start over. This team's overdue a rebuild. And what does a rebuild mean? It means a new quarterback.
Well, I just think that you don't have a solution for me on who that next QB is going to be unless Trey Lance somehow can come in a cheap deal and he's a guy who can hold the fort down for you. You don't have a great option. And in this league, if you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a prayer. So if you want to start over, that's fine. But you're not going to strike gold 3 times in a row with Tony Romo being undrafted, Dak Prescott being a late round pick, and then you're going to do that again? Nobody does that. That is not a strategy.
Wait, Packers obviously do it.
That's first rounders. They're not going late into the
but they got Love at 26 and Rodgers at 24.
Okay,
so
but
the Cowboys
first round guys.
Yeah, so the Cowboys could get a guy at 24.
All right. Well, then they've got to do it, and they've got to make sure they're not part of that 50% of first-round picks that bust.
Who are the top 2 seeds in the NFC? According to Vegas right now, it's
probably San
Francisco, Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, and Detroit, Jared Goff off the trash heap. I'm not sure that's the only way to go is to have this top 10 pick, because the other thing is 60% of the top 10 picks are total busts. They have one of them on their roster in Trey Lance.
I understand.
So I'm not sure that there's and this year's quarterback draft is not great. I don't even know if the year after that is great. So I'm not sure it's that simple. At a certain point, you said show me their option moving forward. I'll tell you what's not an option is to keep doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I don't turn my back on a guy who just came in second in MVP voting. In this day and age, in the NFL, when everything, your one job, if you're a general manager, is either to find your quarterback, get your quarterback paid. This is the whole sport right now. Why you would say no thank you to Dak Prescott when he's clearly the most important piece. What can Micah Parsons do if you're down 2 scores? Newsflash, absolutely nothing. He can't do anything.
Right.
Because all they're going to do is run the ball away from him and play ball control on you. What's CeeDee Lamb going to do? Catching passes from who knows what Trey Lance is or whatever that's going to be. Jack. We're going to be talking about him getting traded like we are with Devontae Adams. And Dak is the most important cog. I'm sorry if that bothers people because he hasn't won yet. And I know it bothered people with Romo because he couldn't win either in the playoffs when it mattered. But you don't want to know what life is like on the other side. I promise you. It's called quarterback hell, and it stinks.
Show me a team that has been the only quarterback hell is be stuck in a contract for 8 years. I mean, the only way, say Dak is not a Super Bowl winning quarterback. That's a very plausible statement. We have a lot of evidence.
Yes.
What is the only way to guarantee that you won't get a Super Bowl winning quarterback? Is
to keep him?
To keep him for 6 more years. Do 14 years of Dak if you don't think you can win a Super Bowl. I mean, you say like there's no quarterback plan. The only way to have a plan at quarterback is to clear the deck so you can get a new one. Otherwise, you're just stuck forever.
See, I don't think so. I think that there's plans here. You mentioned before, how do you get quarterbacks? Your Philadelphia Eagles, the Green Bay Packers. This was a year before they actually needed it. For the Green Bay, it was 3 years before they needed it. This is Cowboys stuff. This is winging a prayer.
Well,
that's with the quarterback position.
If you pay Dak right now, you're done. You're like, that's it. This is your team.
For the next 3 or 4 years. He's only 31.
4 years? Jerry's going to be 86 by then.
Who cares?
Well, I'm just saying, like, if this is really, for all intents and purposes, if you do a Dak deal now, that's it. You're never going to get a shot at one of these other guys. There's no Shador coming. There's no Matthew Stafford coming ever.
If you have a rookie, though, if we're talking about Jerry's age, right? We're talking about right now with the Cowboys, if there's 3 guys who want to be paid at the top of the market, it's Dak Prescott, it's Micah Parsons, and it's CeeDee Lamb. If you could only pay one, who should the Cowboys pay? You're saying Micah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying Dak Prescott. And you're talking about Jerry's age, right? If you start over with a rookie quarterback, then the expectations completely change. You can't say a rookie quarterback, we're Super Bowl or bust now. Now you got to wait for the guy to develop. And who's your coach?
The second year, right, is when you get to the Super Bowl.
Okay, so, second year, if you're Joe Burrow, yeah, great.
Brock Purdy. Probably C.J. Stroud this year. I mean, you go down the list. Like, that's really second or third year quarterback. That's when you get to the Super Bowl.
Okay, do we think that the Dallas defense is that good? Like Russell Wilson with the Legion of Boom. I don't know if it's that good. We'll see with Mike Zimmer.
Well, I mean, it was San Francisco's offense. Defense was that good, and they sure looked good with Purdy the last couple of years.
Yeah,
so.
They have been very good, though. They have studs. They've got Nick Bosa. They've got Fred Warner. I mean, they're an awesome defensive team. Their defensive coordinators keep getting hired other places.
I mean, Jalen Hurts was in his third year, but I mean, the path to do it is not have a quarterback who's been there, the starter for 8 years and never done it, and then hope that he hits it in the second half. When does that work? There's no model for that. You got to do it early.
Rich Gannon, I guess. I don't know.
Well, Rich Gannon was actually on multiple teams, right?
Yeah,
there's just this current model with Dak Prescott, it's just not a model. That's not a Super Bowl model. And unfortunately for your guy, Josh Allen, that's not really a model either.
Well, it's Matthew Stafford, I mean.
Stafford moved teams.
Yeah, he moved. I understand.
That's the model for Dak. Yeah, Dak might make a Super Bowl, but it ain't going to be in Dallas. Well, that's the reality of the situation.
Imagine if Matthew Stafford was on the Lions right now.
I don't know. Because the Lions rebuilt around that trade. I'm not so sure.
855-212-4227. All right, let's bring it back to the Cowboys. And this is the question for you today. After Jerry and Steven and Mike McCarthy, very long, winding press conference that lasted about an hour. If you could only pay one guy, Dak, CD, or Micah, who is it? You can go to @Maggie and Pearl on X and vote. Good morning, everybody. Perloff and I did it again. We are wearing similar colors today. I don't know how this keeps happening.
I got a Roberto Clemente sweatshirt. I love this sweatshirt, and it's sort of gold and black. This is homage to the Steelers training camp, and I think you're a similar vein. But yours is more Packers yellow.
Yeah, I guess so.
Your alternate Packers uniform today.
Every time you walk in, and we walk in and see each other, I'm like, and we did it again. If you want to watch the show and see how alike we look today, youtube.com/InfinitySportsNet, twitch.tv/Infinity Sports Network. We say good morning to our Infinity Sports Network affiliates who we love. SiriusXM channel 158 is a great way to listen to the show. And the free Odyssey app, which is absolutely free to download. 855-212-4227. Get it going with the Cowboys. If you could only pay one guy, Dak Prescott, Micah Parsons, or CeeDee Lamb, who should the Cowboys pay? That's your question.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff. The debate today, if the Cowboys could pay one person, Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, or Micah Parsons, who would you pay? I'm paying the future Hall of Fame pass rusher / outside linebacker, hopefully pass rusher, Micah Parsons. Maggie, you were going with?
It's got to be Dak Prescott. Let's not overcomplicate this thing. You know?
Dak's pretty expensive, and Jerry Jones told us in the last segment he has not been able to afford everything he wants in life. I don't know what it is he can't afford.
Yeah, what do you think that means?
Oh, I don't know. Like
the yacht, clearly.
A gold-plated jet? I have no idea. He's worth a lot of money.
He also slipped in this funny moment yesterday during the State of the Cowboys where he's talking about what a privilege it's been to own the Cowboys. And not that, but it's also like a privilege to be in this position where you have all these great players and they all want to get paid. He goes, and it's been my privilege to own the Cowboys and run the NFL. I was like, what? Said the quiet part out loud. Let's hear a little Dak Prescott, can we? Dak talking about the Cowboys he understands have more wants and more things outside of himself. Let's hear cut 23, please, Pete.
It's a two-way street that they have wants, I have wants. I think I've deserved that. Understanding that this is a business, and obviously I want to be here. Talking about growing up, this is where I've become a man.
All right, and Dak says, though other great quarterbacks have gone on to switch teams and have success.
I want to be here, but when you look up, all the great quarterbacks I watched played for other teams. So my point in saying that is that's not something to fear. That may be a reality for me one day, may not be my decision. So that's the freedom that I have is be where your feet are, make the most of it, be confident in yourself, make your team better. I love my teammates. I love that locker room. I love everything about being out here in Oxnard and being a Dallas Cowboy. So that's what allows me to be free and focused and understand that when time comes, who knows what comes.
In other words, that is several words to describe I'm going to Miami.
Goodbye, down. I'm taking my talents to South Beach.
Start printing that Prescott Dolphins jersey. You always say if you're thinking about retirement, you already have 1 foot in retirement. He's got 1 foot out the door.
You think so?
I think. I
1
mean,
foot to free agency.
I think now he's got plenty of money, so he doesn't really need to worry about getting paid. Like Micah Parsons and CD are on the rookie deals, so they're in a different ballpark than Dak. I think Dak is looking around. I think maybe he's tired of this.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that's another grass is greener situation. Not saying he couldn't go somewhere else and have success, but while I was saying that the Cowboys should be careful what they wish for if they want to get rid of Dak Prescott, good luck finding your next franchise quarterback. Guy was runner-up in MVP last year. But also, there's certain privileges that come with being the Dallas Cowboys quarterback. Now, maybe that grows old, maybe the scrutiny, but it's not like, there's also a lot of perks and privileges, I think, that come with being that visible. So
Definitely. It's so interesting to me. Do you think it's possible that Dak is getting tired of that attention and that focus? I mean, he said, I love being in Oxnard. Like, it's gorgeous out there. He's in California. He gets to wear the star on his helmet. He gets all the attention. Everyone's talking about him. I wonder the way his personality is he had enough, which is weird to me because I think a lot of people would like that. But we forget about the downside of that. Like, every time he throws a pick in the playoffs, like, a lot of people are criticizing him.
Yeah, I understand it. I feel like Dallas Cowboys quarterbacks remain Dallas Cowboys quarterbacks. Right?
Yeah, for life. Tony Romo did not leave them. He had to retire because of health issues and he lost his job. It just feels like Dak is ready to go. I don't know what it is. Like, would he say that? A few years ago, he never would have said that. Feels like he's getting tired.
You're like, all right, if you're Dak Prescott, it's like, all right, I'm done with the Cowboys. Let's just say he is. I'm done with the Cowboys. I can't wait to get to a real buttoned-up organization like the Miami Dolphins, who haven't won a playoff game this century. Like, where you're going to a place that is not exactly known for being like, they just got a first-round draft pick fined because their owner was meeting with Tom Brady on a yacht. Like, even you couldn't even get the quarterback. Like, you did the tampering and you couldn't even get the guy. It all blew up in their faces. Like, I just don't think, when I think of like really well-run teams, the first thing in my mind isn't, wow, Miami Dolphins. They're really the model of consistency.
It's not the only option. I was just giving Miami seems like a logical one. I mean, listen, will Rodgers be done in New York because you go to the Jets for stability?
Maybe go to the Giants? Yeah, there's a lot there. These other models of stability, the Jets and the Giants, they've been awesome lately.
Pittsburgh Steelers have no one under contract next year. That's a possibility. You never know. So much changes from year to year. The Jets, I'd go Steelers is stability. That's a lot different. I stopped you there for a second.
I hate to say it.
Yeah. Anyway, New Orleans? How about that?
Yeah, that front office is dynamite.
I mean, listen, it's similar front office to the one who got them in the Super Bowl with Drew Brees.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, there
like
are
something's
options out
missing.
there. I mean, Arizona at some point is going to be tired of Kyler Murray. There's so much that could happen. We're getting a year ahead of ourselves, presumably. But now that Dak has opened that door, I really do think this is a fun conversation now because he's basically saying, Jerry, listen, I'll play this year. If you want to play this game, if you want to have me playing for my future here, I'll bet on myself. I think he's fine doing that.
Yeah,
do you think
too.
you think he's okay?
Yeah.
Right. Because one big thing is he's already gotten paid.
Yeah, and I think he's going to have a huge market. Kirk Cousins just got $100 million coming off an Achilles tear. What do you think Dak Prescott's going to get? Like, he's going to be fine. And I think he's going to have plenty of suitors.
Yeah.
I think he's going to feel the love. I think all the things that athletes love about free agency, I think, are going to come his way. You're welcome to go vote on our poll at Maggie and Pearl on X. If you can only pay one guy, Dak, CD, Micah Parsons, who do you pay? 855-212-4227. Andrew Bagoosh is in this morning, a little worse for the wear.
No, I'm an adult professional. I'm fine. Thank
Sure
you for
about
checking.
No,
yes.
adult and professional was never in doubt.
No, I'm here. I'm sturdy. I'm fine. I think.
Did you say sturdy or dirty?
Yeah. No, I wish I was 30. Oh. Those are the good old days. Remember
Yeah,
those, Pete?
wait. Sorry. Are we going to say what happened here?
That's what I'm waiting for.
I don't understand. I did not weigh in. There was a text thread last night, and I honestly did not understand what was going on. I was like, is this real?
Same here.
Oh, but EJ, thank you.
It was hilarious. I thought.
Thank you, Maggie.
I got a
No,
like
it's
a
definitely
belly
funny,
laugh out of
but
it.
wait, was it real or fake?
So
Were you playing center field for a Little League baseball team yesterday?
It was a real text. The text, where is it? I said at 6:46 Eastern time yesterday, I texted the group on purpose, I might be drunk in center field against 10-year-olds. So that was, at that moment, I might be drunk was a fair statement. I was not drunk in the end. Test confirmed. Might have been buzzed, but I was definitely in center field playing a fun, non-official baseball game against my son's team.
Buzz center field is drunk center field, Bogus. I saw it on a commercial.
I was like, sir, this is a Wendy's. No, I thought it was great. I'm like, we need to know, how did you get... First of all, why are you playing against a bunch of 10-year-olds? I mean, that's not maybe that much of a stretch. Dads play against their kids. But how Tequila was getting passed out of this game.
Yeah.
Wait, I just can disagree a little bit. That is a bit of a stretch. Dads play against their kids. They don't go into center field in the middle of a game.
The summer of travel baseball that keeps on giving continues. Remember, we went to Delaware and didn't play a game for 3 days? There's that story. And then yesterday we showed up to play a doubleheader, and it was at a bad time. It like threw everyone's day into like the blender, running around, getting ready to the field, getting ready to go. We get there, we're warming up. It's a beautiful day, and first pitch is 5 o'clock. 4:30, we look around, like usually the other team's here by now. And then I go, there's no umpire either. That's weird. Now, we were supposed
And that's
to...
when you took that blender and started
we were
making
supposed to
margaritas
play
with it.
this team.
Tequila.
Frozen marks for everybody.
We were supposed to play this team in a doubleheader the previous Thursday, and that morning they called our coach and said, without explanation, I don't have enough guys to play. Can we postpone the game? So we thought the game was moved from last Thursday to yesterday, but apparently the league and the other team didn't know that. So that's why there was no umpire. That's why there was no other team. So we shifted into practice mode. So we were legitimately like throwing BP, walking around the field, teaching kids here and there. And then all of a sudden...
How to take a shooter?
And
Like,
then,
what were you
and then all
teaching
of a
them?
sudden I was handed a red Solo cup with tequila, with a splash of tequila. And about a half an hour later, there was your text.
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah. And I was already bad-mouthing these kids for fun, so then the tequila happened, I probably got a little bit too loud. That's horrible. Everyone was a good audience.
It's like all of a sudden a muffled "you suck" like from the back. It's like, who said that?
I feel like
Dad said that.
feel like we're flirting with shouldn't you be in some form of trouble for this? This doesn't seem totally right.
Perloff.
I don't know.
No, I mean, listen, you just Google travel baseball games. All parents do is get hammered. You're lucky that I wasn't asleep in center field.
Who amongst
There's nothing worse for a 10-year-old than thinking you're going to play an actual baseball game and instead your dad's playing center field at practice.
Hey, stumbling
I'm
around.
sorry. I feel so bad for Jake. He must have been like, what the hell? I wanted a game.
They're still getting ice cream afterwards. It doesn't matter.
We went home and Jake said, "Man, that was fun." And I was like, "Yeah, it was." He loved it.
Maybe he got into the Casamigos.
Tequila.
I didn't check
I feel
that.
like AI here. Practice? Against Bogush?
It's been a tough season.
No, we made it fun. They were playing different positions.
Yeah.
They took turns hitting. They were running the bases like lunatics, which they love to do. They had a good time.
They were blasted.
I remember playing.
I think that's what
basketball,
happened.
and the other team didn't show up. That was always the worst day of the month.
yeah.
The fact that now you're talking about the kids had fun. I'm like, maybe Perloff is right. Maybe these kids don't got that dog in them.
Well,
they want to practice.
Yeah.
The particular disappointment yesterday was that this is one of the teams, the few, that are below us in the standings.
Oh,
So
you were
we
hoping for an easy W.
Well, we were hoping for a W. We'll take it however we can get it, and it was a chance to get 2 Ws. So that was particularly disappointing. Why not have the good teams not show up?
You couldn't get a forfeit. That is terrible.
But now, right, because there was it was partially, it seems like our coach made some error in this too, so it was a little bit on our blame
Maybe
as
he should
well.
lay off the sauce.
But now the latest update was the games are now rescheduled for this Saturday morning. And if this other team can't play or doesn't show up, then we will get credited with the 2 wins. But yesterday could have been,
There's the key. So screw up the schedule and hope that the other team doesn't show up to the makeup.
And now your whole weekend's ruined.
Yeah.
Well,
and
yeah.
you got Andrew Bogus spelled with a U because you're doing your Andrew Jones impersonation. I've been thinking about this all. Yeah.
I wish.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I made a couple good plays in
Yeah,
center field.
do you
I'm
have to
sorry,
get
there's
drunk
no
to-
amount of tequila that's
Yeah.
going to turn Andrew Bogush into Andrew Jones.
The fact that
Thanks,
your
Maggie.
patella tendon is still intact, I give you credit for that.
Yeah.
Seriously, the bar's low
someone-
around here.
Is there any amount of tequila that would make my semi-dad joke there any good?
Also,
Tequila.
no.
Nope.
But yes, my knee is fine, EJ, but I definitely need Tommy John surgery. That has been in the back of my head for a while. Confirmed yesterday by me throwing BBs from center field.
Oh, jeez.
Elbow was barking last night. It was just dipping it in the tequila.
Andrew Judge Bogush, something like that. Well, beyond that,
Yeah.
any other headlines?
Yeah, congrats to all 6 of us, actually. We all had as many hits as the Washington Nationals yesterday.
Abrams to right field. Johnson coming in. He makes the catch. No hits for the Nats. Dylan Cease throws a no-hitter. The second no-hitter in Padres history. There'll be a sea of San Diegans celebrating back home today.
That's the great Don Orsillo on Padres TV. Dylan Cease making history in D.C. yesterday afternoon. 9 Ks in the no-hitter, a career-high 114 pitches. He had thrown 94 of them through 7 innings, so manager Mike Schilt almost took Cease out of the game.
He said, nice job, and I looked up and it was like 94 pitches, and I just said I feel great, and if we get through the next one in like 105, then I've thrown 113 this year, and so he thankfully they let me talk him into it, and then here we are.
Yeah, Cease was efficient over those last 2 to make history with the no-hitter.
I thought the craziest part of this is the hour-long rain delay that they also
In
let
the
him
first inning, yeah.
They let him come back out. That's generally a no-no in this day and age. But I love the fact that he talked his way back into the game.
Yeah, I don't know how close he was to really coming out of it. It seemed like it was, like a quick talk and that was it. And the manager says that he was talking to another pitcher and the pitcher was like, you got to leave him in. He's like, yeah, you're right. So I don't know that they were really taking him out and he talked his way back in, but there was a little bit of a, hey, that's a lot of pitches. What do you think?
I really hope Dylan Cease goes on to continue to dominate this season because this could be maybe the sign to say, hey, like a guy throwing a no-hitter doesn't mean that his arm's going to fall off.
Yeah,
like
right.
he can go 115 pitches and do complete history, second no-hitter in a season, and still have a fine career. Like now I'm like the biggest Dylan Cease fan moving forward because I don't want him to get hurt. Don't have anything bad happen to him moving forward so we can actually have more of these great obviously no-hitters.
It won't happen, EJ. No, there's no.
You mean it won't happen that other guys won't get a shot, or that he will get hurt, or he will be terrible?
No, that other guys will get a shot. Like there's no rhyme or reason to this at all, and no team is gonna go, oh well, Dylan Cease did it, so I'll just let my guy throw 121 pitches on a random Thursday. But I wish I like seeing history. What else we got?
Well, the 3-0 win also important for San Diego's playoff push. They stay a half game behind the Mets for the second NL wildcard. The Amazons outlasted the Braves 3-2-10 last night. That's 5 straight wins, a season high 6 games over 500.
That's right.
The Seattle Mariners trading for Rays outfielder Randy Arozarena, sending 2 prospects to Tampa Bay. Arozarena only hitting .211 with 15 homers, but still should help the Mariners, who have the 3rd lowest OPS in the majors. They also trail the Astros by a game in the AL West after having a 10-game cushion back in early June. Before LeBron and Coco Gauff carry the U.S. flag in the opening ceremonies later today in Paris, Snoop Dogg carried the Olympic torch. He was an official part of the relay that gets the torch to the Stade de France for tonight's ceremonies. The festivities begin right around 1:30 Eastern today.
Wait, I was confused by this. Why wouldn't a French person do this?
Well, because it's a lot of people. He's not the one that brought it to the cauldron. But the torch goes from
pay to see that.
And then light a joint off of it.
That's the way to do it.
Sorry, a blunt, not a joint. How dare I?
The torch relay is goes on for the 4 years in between the games. It starts where it was, and then it gets walked all the way to the new place. So he was just one of, I think, probably thousands that got to hold it for a mile or whatever.
I love that Flavor Flav said what an honor this is for everyone in hip hop. I'm like, and now we got Flavor Flav weighing in.
What does he do?
So Flavor Flav, he's the official hype man for the women's water polo team.
I think
he's been practicing.
How could I have forgotten about that?
Made that call.
Very obvious partnership.
I think he funds them. He's not just a cheerleader. He's their bankroll.
He's like their Uncle Luke to the Miami Hurricanes.
I like to see people around.
Worked out well for the Miami. So.
I like to see people sitting around a table coming up with that one.
List of people to reach out to. We need money.
He scored in the practice that he was in. He scored 2 goals in the game, and I thought, is this a good or bad sign for our Americans in water polo?
That's like when Oregon lets Phil Knight call a play. Whoever's got the money gets to have a little bit of fun.
The Canadian Olympic Committee has sent women's soccer head coach Bev Priestman home as the fallout continues from the team using drones to spy on a closed New Zealand practice ahead of these Olympics. Current reports say the women and men's team have been doing this for years, and that COC says its latest info indicates that Priestman knew what was going on. She was already suspended. Now she has to go home altogether.
How's that her fault, really? I mean,
can you listen before you get angry? She knew it was happening.
Okay, that's fine. Close the practice more. Don't.
Whoa! You're blaming the victim?
Yes.
Pete, sit this one out. Okay, take a break.
Thank you.
All right.
Wait, hold on. I want to hear Pete out on this.
Oh no.
So
I'll piss.
The drone, they got spied on with a drone. New Zealand got spied on. They called it out. Canada got in trouble because they've been running a semi-elaborate drone spying scam going back to 2019. But Pete, you're in favor of Canada here?
No, I'm in favor of how about you pay attention and this won't happen.
They did pay attention.
I think that's how they got called.
They went, hey, there's a drone above us. That shouldn't be happening.
Well, how has it been happening since 2019?
Apparently, Honduras actually stopped their practice because they also saw a drone. This is going back a couple years.
Credit to Honduras. They stopped their practice.
And then the Canadians were like, no. Lots of people fly drones, and everyone's really excited because Honduras is in town. But I was like, wow, that's quite a defense.
If they knew it, why all of a sudden now it's an issue?
No, it just happened.
But you just said 2019.
No, I didn't.
No, it's been going. They think it's been going back now for years.
The New Zealand thing happened Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's been happening. So why haven't we done anything about it in 2019?
I think they got caught red-handed this time.
I thought Canada was supposed to be nice.
When do the Olympics end again?
When do you end again?
Soon.
You've got Botcher here for no reason. Put him on the microphone.
My question is, why is Canada not better at soccer aren't they notoriously kind of bad? Like,
they're the reigning gold medalists on the women's side.
The men's team is. He said, I heard that it didn't Bogus. Maybe I'm also not listening to the update. Maybe didn't Bogus that men's team's been doing this.
Yeah,
too?
and the men actually have been better than our men recently. At least in the Copa America, they went farther than us, and they're coached now by an American. They've been on the upswing, maybe because they're cheating.
Maybe we figured it out.
But again, shame on the victims.
Do better. Do better.
On Peopleati.
Do better. Bogus, thank you so much for all of that. That drone scandal is just so weird and silly. We've got a quarterback situation percolating in Pittsburgh. We'll tell you about it next.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Andrew Bogusch had a plan on a sunny afternoon. Grabbed a bat and took the field under the summer moon. He said, Jack, let's show 'em how the Bogusch boys can play. But little did they know he had whiskey in his sway.
Oh, Andrew Bogusch swaying side to side with a bottle in his hand. He gave it a good try, swinging at the pitches, stumbling on his feet, drunk on the diamond in the summer heat.
Jack's team was laughing as Dad took his stance, wobbling at the plate in a tipsy baseball dance. The coach was shaking his head, moms were all aghast, but Andrew Bogusch grinned, living in the past.
Oh, Andrew Bogusch swaying side to side with a bottle in his hand. He gave it a good try, swinging at the pitches, stumbling on his feet, drunk on the diamond in the summer heat. He hit a grounder to the shortstop, tried to make it to first, but he tripped over his own feet. Oh man, it was the worst. Jack was on the mound, his face turning red. Come on, Dad, get up, this game's far from dead. Oh, Andrew Bogusch swaying side to side with a bottle in his hand. He gave it a good try, swinging at the pitches, stumbling on his feet, drunk on the diamond in the summer heat. He hit a grounder to the shortstop, tried to make it to first, but he tripped over his own feet. Oh man, it was the worst. Jack was on the mound, his face turning red. Come on, Dad, get up, this game's far from dead. To the shortstop, tried to make it to first, but he tripped over his own feet. Oh man, it was the worst. Jack was on the mound, his face turning red. Come on, Dad, get up, this game's far from dead. Oh, Andrew Bogusch swaying side to side with a bottle in his hand. He gave it a good try, swinging at the pitches, stumbling on his feet, drunk on the diamond in the summer heat. So if you see a little league and laughter fills the air, look for Andrew Bogusch, you might find him there. With a grin and a wink, he'll raise a drink on high, playing ball with Jack's team under the summer sky.
Andrew Bogusch had a plan on a sunny afternoon. Grabbed a bat and took the field under the summer moon. He said, Jack, let's show 'em how the Bogusch boys can play. But little did they know he had whiskey in his sway.
Oh, Andrew Bogusch swaying side to side with a bottle in his hand. He gave it a good try, swinging at the pitches, stumbling on his feet, drunk on the diamond in the summer heat.
One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie and Perloff. Perloff had to take a quick time out for a second. Got to deal with something that just came up. Andrew Bogusch is here. The crazy thing about the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback situation, Bogusch, is that you have Russell Wilson and you have Justin Fields. Now, yesterday, Russell Wilson was dealing with some calf tightness. So Mike Tomlin said it was his decision for Russ to sit.
Russ woke up today, man, his calf was tight. It was my decision to sit him down today, create a little short-term discomfort for him, not allowing a small problem to become a bigger problem. He can be characterized as day-to-day.
Okay. Tomlin went on to say that Wilson's injury was a good opportunity because now Justin Fields, on short notice, was taking all the reps with the ones.
On the flip side of that, it was an awesome opportunity for Justin and a challenge for our offensive unit to deal with a little adversity at the outset. You know, we all like to start with great.
Okay, so I think
curse?
I mean, it's Tomlin. Who knows? But here's the thing. Is there a possibility, Bogusch, that this situation just sort of works itself out? Like, we're all, and I am very focused in on who is actually going to be the quarterback of this team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, when it really matters at the end of the season and hopefully for Steelers fans in a playoff run. Is it possible this just works itself out? We get no drama, no tension because there could be an injury situation.
Well, it's not this injury, though, right? I mean, this is just, I'll believe Mike Tomlin. And by the way, if you didn't miss football and then you hear him talk, that's my favorite thing about the league.
I know, we're back.
Give me Mike Tomlin, the big words, the great metaphors. I'm here for all of that. So
create a little short-term discomfort for him.
Short-term discomfort, long-term, he's the best. I love that man. I hope he coaches forever.
Don't worry, he will.
This is not the injury that's going to solve all of this. The thing I don't know is like really how entrenched they are in Russell being number one. Like how bad would he have to play for them to make a switch? Because if it's out of their hands, whatever. But if he remains barely average, how long will they let that go on? I don't know how deeply connected they are to him being the number one guy.
Listen, Mike Tomlin stuck with Matt Canada, the offensive coordinator, to the point where ownership had to get involved. And ultimately, ownership was, if you believe the reports, and I do, ownership was ultimately who called for the head of Matt Canada, the offensive coordinator, and finally made a change because Tomlin would not do it. He didn't want it to seem like he was throwing one of his coaches under the bus for a team failure. I think they will stick with Russ for a very long time. Now, here's the question, because you have the fans who are part of this too, which is, let's say this calf injury is not that serious, but let's say calf injury, veteran days, Russ has to be managed like a guy in his late 30s, and Russell and Justin Fields doesn't have to be. What if he starts playing great? What if Justin Fields starts to get a little connection with some of the receivers, starts to show that he can take steps forward? I mean, this is a big offense that's going to be like really big on tight ends and stuff like that. You're going to look good, It could make a quarterback look good, especially in camp. And if he plays preseason games, then I think you open up the door to a controversy. Now, Mike Tomlin can weather that. He's got a lot of power in the organization. He's not going to be swayed by the fans. But that's where I think this thing creeps in and starts to impact the locker room.
And that's probably, aside from like a catastrophic injury to one of them, like that's a little bit feels worst case scenario where they're beginning the season with this. It's one thing, it's even if it's week 4 or week 5, but like to literally go into the season with Fields somehow ending up being the definitively better quarterback in the moment is definitely not, I don't think, where they want to be, because I really do think, like you said, that they want Russ to be the guy and then would stick with him as long as humanly possible. They don't want to start in the midst of a deep, deep controversy here.
Yeah,
so they're hoping, I'm sure, that Russell gets back out there and at least looks serviceable.
So at the end of practice, he was out there in shorts and throwing a little bit, but again, just being super cautious with this. The idea that I think they are going to be loyal to Russ, and he does have the pole position. They're going to give him every
Although
shot.
He is an outsider. This is not Roethlisberger, so I don't know. Like, that's why I don't know what the loyalty factor actually is here.
Well, really good friends with one of the minority owners, if you want to go that deep. But the other business partners with one of the minority owners, which is just sort of an interesting wrinkle. I think it's flawed logic. Like, I would actually do this the other way if I were the Steelers. If everything was perfect and I didn't have to worry about egos and placating people and ownership and I just had a blank slate, I'm doing this the other way. I'm actually starting with Fields. And if I think that Russell Wilson still has in the tank, I'm waiting and I'm bringing Russell Wilson off the bench if I am making a playoff push or if something happens with Fields. Like, I want the more experienced guy maybe bringing this thing home and I would start with Fields, and if Fields ends up being great, well, now you've got your future quarterback.
See, and almost for the same reason, this is the way I would do it. Like, adding Fields to the mix was the flyer for the possibility of finding your starter for the next 8 years. Right. Like, that Russell is short-term to some extent, no matter what. But if Fields came in and your guys and your system worked well with him, and there were times last year where he was good enough to talk about the Bears doing something other than the number one pick, as we all remember.
Yeah.
So you're taking the flyer for the future. So this is the way, to me, that it makes sense. We start with Russ, and hopefully that goes great. But if it's not, then we go to the younger guy, and maybe the future starts sooner rather than later.
Okay, possible. We're talking about the Steelers quarterback situation, and what way does this make sense? I would actually start Fields, and I would have Russell Wilson in my back pocket, as opposed to the way that the Steelers are doing it now with starting Wilson and having Fields, because I got Wilson as playoff experience. If I'm the Steelers, don't I think I have a shot? I make the playoffs with teams that are worse than this. Isn't the goal to me this year is to make the playoffs and actually win a game in the playoffs, And for that, if you're just asking me on balance, I actually trust Russell Wilson to win me a playoff game more than I do Justin Fields, just because I've watched it. I've seen him succeed in the postseason.
Yeah, but if you're thinking about, again, Fields, if you're thinking about him long term and thinking that maybe he needs to detox for a second, coming off the Bears and the divorce and all that kind of stuff, that you don't want to put him out there right away, because then if he does struggle and you got to pull him off the field, then you might lose him. This way, maybe they're thinking, okay, we go slow. There is no pressure.
Right.
He takes his time. And at some point, he becomes the better option, whether that's in the back half of this year or next season or whatever.
Yeah, see, I'd love to hear from Steeler fans. Is this season about possibly, winning a playoff game for the first time since 2015, 2016 season? Or is this actually about developing Justin Fields behind the scenes and hoping you struck gold or, whatever, took a flyer on Justin Fields and he ends up being your guy? Because we were talking about it before with regards to the Dallas Cowboys. If there's a breakup looming between Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys, is Pittsburgh a place where Dak might be a possibility? I don't know. The Steelers don't really do that kind of thing. But again, they brought in Russ on for much less money.
But this all, by the way, this entire conversation connects to something that Perloff and I talked about, I think, Tuesday, because every year there is 4, 5, or 6 teams that change over in the playoff picture. And the Steelers, to me, are easily on that list of teams that are not going to return to the postseason this year. Because now that you get defense, sure.
Right.
2-headed running backs, okay, fine. George Pickens seems to be a stud. There's reasons why they won 10 games last year, but there's also, I think, a reason why they win only 7 or 8 this year.
Did you guys see that George Pickens already got into a dust-up with the offense? It wasn't the offensive coordinator. I think it was the wide receivers coach. It was it's day one. They've been there for one day.
It's a lot of pent-up off-season angst.
How do you have beef already?
Didn't Travis Kelce shove somebody? It just happens.
What, Andy Reid in the Super Bowl?
No. In training camp, he already was pushing and shoving. It's just what they do.
Yeah, he's finally off tour.
Yeah. They fight. I drink in center field. We all have our
Thursdays.
Yes, exactly.
You're holding on admirably, despite a tequila on tequila cocktail at 6:45.
I don't know if the science is true behind this, but I put some Gatorade in there. A for flavor and B for immediate hydration. I don't know if that worked or not.
Tequila and Gatorade? What flavor Gatorade?
The red one.
That's the worst one.
But it's closest to like Jungle Juice.
It's what was there.
Did you guys do Jungle Juice?
Yes.
Like just mixing
Pete,
everything?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, but it was just juice, Pete.
I had all the flavors.
Oh, okay.
What was in Jungle Juice? We'll never know, guys.
It wasn't in Jungle Juice.
151, whatever. Oh, boy. Just got a flashback. 855-212-4227.
Sleep in a tub.
Sleep in a tub. AKA my 30th birthday. Got a lot more to do for you, including the Final Four of the Sitcom bracket.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Bogush had a plan on and a Bogush had a plan on a sunny afternoon. Grabbed a bat and took the field under the summer moon. He said, Jack, let's show 'em how the Bogush boys can play. But little did they know he had whiskey in his sway.
Oh, Andrew Bogush swaying side to side with a bottle in his hand. He gave it a good try, swinging at the pitches, stumbling on his feet, drunk on the diamond in the summer heat.
Jack's team was laughing as Dad took his stance, wobbling at the plate in a tipsy baseball dance. The coach was shaking his head, moms were all aghast, but Andrew Bogush grinned, living in the past.
Oh, Andrew Bogush swaying side to side with a bottle in his hand. He gave it a good try, swinging at the pitches, stumbling on his feet, drunk on the diamond in the summer heat. He hit a grounder to the shortstop, tried to make it to first, but he tripped over his own feet. Oh man, it was the worst. Jack was on the mound, his face turning red. Come on, Dad, get up, this game's far from dead. Oh, Andrew Bogush swaying side to side with a bottle in his hand. He gave it a good try, swinging at the pitches, stumbling on his feet, drunk on the diamond in the summer heat. He hit a grounder to the shortstop, tried to make it to first, but he tripped over his own feet. Oh man, it was the worst. Jack was on the mound, his face turning red. Come on, Dad, get up, this game's far from dead.
To the shortstop, tried to make it to first, but he tripped over his own feet. Oh man, it was the worst.
Jack was on the mound, his face turning red. Come on, Dad, get up, this game's far from dead. Oh, Andrew Bogush swaying side to side with a bottle in his hand. He gave it a good try, swinging at the pitches, stumbling on his feet, drunk on the diamond in the summer heat. So if you see a little league and laughter fills the air, look for Andrew Bogush, you might find him there. With a grin and a wink, he'll raise a drink on high, playing ball with Jack's team under the summer sky.
Andrew Bogush had a plan on a sunny afternoon. Grabbed a bat and took the field under the summer moon. He said, Jack, let's show 'em how the Bogush boys can play. But little did they know he had whiskey in his sway.
Oh, Andrew Bogush swaying side to side with a bottle in his hand. He gave it a good try, swinging at the pitches, stumbling on his feet, drunk on the diamond in the summer heat.
One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
NFL training camps, Big Ten Media Day. We got so much going on, and yet that all takes a back seat right now. Hey, welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, Andrew Bogish sitting in for Perloff right now. We've made it, believe it or not, guys, because of our hard work and your hard work. We are down to the final four of the Maggie and Perloff sitcom bracket. We are trying to find the greatest sitcom of all time. And yesterday, I was stunned. When I say shocked, Bogish, shocked by one, not that one of the results happened, but just by the landslide that the voting produced. And that is Cheers beating Friends. That was a 1 seed versus a 2 seed. And it wasn't even close. Cheers doubled up Friends. I thought Friends was clearly one of the most important and popular sitcoms of the last 25, 30 years.
I don't like this version of you.
What?
This feels like your buddy Perloff's like innocent Eagles, Phillies, Philadelphia takes. Like, how did this happen? Who saw Friends losing by a 2-1 margin to Cheers? I don't know. The lady who eviscerated Lisa Kudrow for fun on these airwaves yesterday.
Listen, I just said Phoebe was the worst character ever invented
is Bryce
on
Harper
television.
good at baseball? I don't remember. Is he? Oh, it's a home run.
Listen, it's not my cup of tea, but I get why people liked it. Anyway, so Cheers moves on. That's in the final four. And let's give you a little bit more of the results. I just wanted to point that out.
Why?
How surprised I was.
How badly Lisa lost yesterday.
Lisa, like it's some kind of personal thing.
I swear it is. I'm going to get to the bottom of this.
You know what? So here is the final four, guys. We did it again. All of the voting happens on Maggie and Pearl at X. So here you go. The number 1 seed in the Seinfeld region, of course, is Seinfeld, which is on to the final four. Here is George explaining the benefit of being hopeless.
Gotten to the point when flirting with operators on the phone. I almost made a date with one.
Oh, so there's still hope.
I don't want hope. Hope is killing me. My dream is to become hopeless. When you're hopeless, you don't care. Mm-hmm. And when you don't care, that indifference makes you attractive.
Uh-huh. So hopelessness is the key.
It's my only hope.
There you go.
That show seems funny. Maybe I should have watched it more.
Spoken like a true Mets fan. And Seinfeld goes up against another number 1 seed. This is real blue blood stuff in our final four. That'd be MASH. Here is Frank Burns is placed under arrest.
Get dressed. You're coming with me.
Hold it, Flag. He's mine. You'll have to take a number and wait.
Or call ahead. Everybody wants to arrest Frank Burns this time of year.
Arrest me? What for heaven's sake?
You're a communist.
He's a fascist. I'm not either. I'm nothing. We'll vouch for that.
I've got a list here of 17 left-wing organizations and charities you've contributed to.
I never gave a dime to charity. I believe every man has the right to be poor.
Okay. That's Seinfeld going up against MASH, 1 versus 1. In the other final four matchup, it is the 2 seed, The Office. Michael gives the most cringeworthy toast at Phyllis and Bob Vance's wedding.
My name is Michael Scott. Webster's dictionary defines wedding as the fusing of 2 metals with a hot torch. Well, you know something? I think you guys are 2 metals, gold medals.
So good.
All right, this came up this week too while you were not here, Maggie. What's you watched The Office, right? What is your thought on the Scott's Tots episode?
Oh, well, I have many thoughts.
Okay.
Hold that thought for a second. The Office is the 2 seed in the Final Four. They will face another number 1 seed. That is Cheers. Here is Carla giving Sam her philosophy on Diane.
What kind of artist should I get to paint Diane?
You better get a bad one.
Why?
Well, you don't want it to look like her, do you?
You know, you're wisecracks all the time. Don't make things any easier here.
Oh, come on, Sam. You know my philosophy. If you can't say something nice, say it about Diane.
There you go. So that's it. 3 1 seeds and a 2 seed in this Final Four. Again, Blue Bloods, heavy favorites. Seinfeld versus MASH, The Office versus Cheers. Perloff is back.
I'm back. So this proves that our seeding was right. We got a lot of flack. I
still disagree.
I gave us a lot of flack.
Thank you.
But EJ.
Yeah.
EJ was. I think EJ was quite upset with me because I was shredding his input on some of the rankings. But I think we all got it kind of right.
Yeah, Perloff shredding rankings that he was a part of creating is how we came up with the nickname Foxhole Perloff. Always with us until the bitter end, Thelma and Louise style. But
can we be honest about where I just went for the last 10 minutes?
do you want to tell everybody?
Well, I can't go vote because I was just hacked on Twitter. So if I tweet, X.
Yeah.
If I X anything out, it ain't me. Just want the world to know that.
Hold on. The crazy irony of you getting hacked this morning and having to go figure that out over the last 5 minutes is that you just started paying for the premium access
I know.
and got hacked less than 24 hours later.
Yes. Anyway, I'm working on fixing this. This is bad.
Are they sending out porn?
No, it's a Twitter help bot.
Yeah, it seems to be a mini epidemic right now.
Is
There's
it-
at least one other person that we know that has fallen.
Who's,
victim
by
to
the way,
this.
much bigger following than me and much smarter person than me. So that is the only reason that I don't feel bad is because someone cooler than me had it happen to him.
Who? Like Mick Jagger?
I don't want to.
Which backup quarterback?
Maggie, I'm going to.
Case?
Not
Not Case's account.
No, I'm going to share
Love
something
you,
with you.
Case.
There are
Which
many
McCown
cooler
did
people.
this?
What's
There are
that?
many cooler people in the world than me. You don't have to go straight to Mick Jagger. Try like, yeah.
First person that came to mind. I'm sorry,
there's a
Andy Dalton.
way there's 3 people in this room cooler than me. You don't have to go to the lead singer of the Rolling Stones.
I mean, listen, I set the bar high for you.
Who, Mick Jagger?
Well, I'm sure runs his own account.
No. Mick Jones, who sits over there in the
Mick Jones
bullpen.
and Porter?
Oh, actually, Mick Jones. Yeah. I couldn't think of a non-famous Mick.
Mick in engineering?
Cut me, Mick. Yeah, Mick in engineering is good. Well, Mick in
I'm sure
engineering
he's
is
delighted to
stupid
know you got
enough.
hacked.
I was just like, oh, here's my old friend. I'll click on this. Oh my God, what am I doing? We see these videos at work all the time. Don't get fished, and it happened to me, and this is terrible.
Well, you didn't think it was coming from someone you know. Now, meanwhile, listen, we had this global tech outage last week. You got this with Twitter. It's all going to get resolved.
It's not. I am nervous because I don't know how this resolves.
But the person we have not named still yet, he or she has been fixed. It appears like he has his account back. I don't know when his problem started, but he knows how to figure this out.
Thank goodness for President Obama.
He told me what to do. He told me what to do. But it's early, so they're out on I don't know if they're on the West Coast. I don't know when this is going to get fixed and what can happen in the meantime. So I am optimistic, but this is nerve-wracking because I'm one of those people who's quite scared of identity theft.
No, you should be. I mean, and we all are. It's just funny because, not funny, but it felt like this happened a lot more back in the day when all of a sudden you'd get your email hacked.
Yes.
And that was obviously the dead giveaway that you were looking at porn.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Bill. Like,
Can I make this clear right now? There was no adult content involved in any of this.
that doesn't exist anymore. I'm talking like the 2010s or 2005s. I think this was a thing.
Oh, I don't know about
it's
that.
Like, well, I guess
I don't know about that. I got a strange looking email from my buddy the other day. I'm like, I don't think he said that.
It's like, clicked on that sorority video again. You should know better by now.
Boyle.
Those Golden Girls videos that you was watching.
Yeah, right, EJ, the Golden Girls videos.
So how will we know if something is sent out from my social media account that it's not me?
Well, now you can't really click on it as yourself.
You don't exist.
No,
You don't
the
exist.
tweet would be the New York Mets are awesome. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, this is the what would I send to signal to everybody that I need help, like I've been held
Yes.
hostage. I was going to say how we know it's not you is if it's something funny, but you teed me up for that
Well,
one.
I gotta tell you, being hacked, that was bad. That hurt more.
I'm
what Maggie
sorry.
just said.
Wait, hold on. While we're talking about your Twitter account,
That was good, actually.
You actually had a phenomenal tweet yesterday that I want to bring up.
Oh, again, yeah, it doesn't exist anymore, but it was. Are we doing Perloff Twitter nostalgia now? Okay,
I mean,
go ahead.
It was gold because I really don't know the answer to this. And you posed a question: does mustard go bad? Yeah, crickets. Appropriately crickets.
I believe it does.
Someone that loved ketchup hacked you. That's what happened.
It was like the big ketchup. Heinz. Does mustard go bad? I don't think so, guys.
No, people are telling me it did. It has date on it.
Yeah, I think it does.
Okay, but think about all the condiments in your fridge. What's the one you're least worried about? Like mustard could sit there for 2 years.
This immediate response on Google says you should not have it for more than a year in your fridge.
All right, but it takes a while to get through
I feel
a
like
mustard.
you can look. I feel like mustard gets a certain look and taste after a while that you're just like it's like really watery. It just like
that's an issue.
But what if it's like
this
stone ground? The other part too is it's not going to grow mold. You know, I don't think.
I don't know. By the way, I definitely ate it. I had a hamburger last night.
Wait, you put mustard on a hamburger?
You don't?
Yeah, mustard and ketchup.
I do not. No.
Oh, mustard for me, mustard, ketchup, and pickles, and mayonnaise.
Ketchup, pickles, mayonnaise, fine, but not mustard.
Interesting.
Not mustard.
It actually tastes pretty good, especially on a chicken burger. I had it the other day. Chicken burger with a little mustard. Yeah.
Or chicken sausage.
Yes.
Love mustard on that.
Yeah, but that's a different thing.
That's true. It's more of a hot dog. 855-212-4227. So there you go. A lot happened there. We revealed the final four of the Maggie and Perloff sitcom bracket. Seinfeld versus MASH, The Office versus Cheers. Perloff barged in Kool-Aid Man style to tell us he's been hacked.
Yeah, Maggie.
Kramer.
Maggie had a cutting joke, which I still really appreciated. That was good.
That was
I'm
only
very
'cause I
proud
had
of
the
you. That
TM.
was a good one.
I don't think it. And then we also figured out that maybe mustard, well, we're not really sure if mustard goes bad. We just know Perloff ate the mustard.
We've learned more about my account being hacked than what happens to mustard after a year. We know nothing. We need a scientist.
Last time I was able to check your account, I think it sent out about 25 help messages.
Oh, boy, Pearl.
Yeah. So, and the person who we're not naming has named himself. John Rothstein, college basketball expert, has tweeted to not answer any DMs from him this morning, so he is now confirmed.
Thanks, John. Where were you 25 minutes ago?
Yeah, and you know what? I'm almost a little insulted. I didn't get a DM from John. How did you get one and I didn't?
Because John probably doesn't follow you.
Yeah, John.
He 100% does.
Oh. Maybe that's shadow account. I have no idea.
Where do you think he gets his A10 news and notes from?
Oh, that's you? By proxy? What would he do without you?
I think John sleeps in July now.
Apparently he was sleeping last night when this happened.
That's a deep cut. That's very funny. Pearl, here's the thing, though. I know you're worried about this and your account getting hacked. You shouldn't, though, because it's not like it's sending out embarrassing things. Like when Woj's account gets hacked or Jeff Passan, people are messing with people.
Oh, but Buster only got
Yeah,
hacked.
Buster.
Sorry, Buster's who I'm thinking of.
The A's got Francisco Lindor, according to that.
Yeah, right. Someone could be sending out fake Phillies trades from your account, but they're not doing that.
Well, can we also say how
The
stupid I
Eagles
am?
just cut Jalen Rose.
Yeah, right.
But-
Jalen Hurts. I'm sorry.
Can we give a larger picture? I also thought Drew Aller and Sydney Sweeney were dating based on what I read on the internet yesterday.
Yeah, maybe you're not the
That's
best
how it
person.
started. You probably clicked on that link.
That's right.
How has this not happened to you before?
You were like easy picking.
Okay,
3 weeks.
Maybe
It
I
happened
just
again.
maybe I want Drew Aller and Sydney Sweeney to be dating because that would be awesome. Okay,
The Warriors want Jordan
okay.
Poole back?
If I'm gonna get hacked for something, that's a cool way to get hacked. And what if they end up together? It could happen.
I Googled that yesterday because it was bothering me.
Yeah.
I almost texted the group.
Yeah.
It was in, like, I would just recoil and be like, there's no way that's a thing. So I Googled it. There's one mention on the internet of that,
Yeah.
the thing that you saw. There is no secondary sourcing, no corroboration. No one even picked up on it and wrote about it on their own site. That's how easily it was dismissed.
Weirdly, it came from Drew Aller. He's
Yeah,
the one
by the
starting
way.
this rumor
Yeah, it was-
that he's dating Sydney Sweeney.
It was Drew Aller's best friend on the team. Yeah. By the way, they're going to end up together. Just you guys are giving me a hard time now. If they ever end up dating, why Drew Aller could pull a Sydney Sweeney if her marriage doesn't work out.
Wait, rooting for that now?
Did you watch against Michigan last year? I don't know.
Yeah, I know. No. Can he read a blitz? That's a different story.
855-212-4227. Well, a lot there. A lot. You're going to be
Do you
okay.
have any predictions for the Final Four now that we're here?
I do. Seinfeld has just been winning so overwhelmingly. They're like UConn and a back-to-back. It's not even close.
I thought you meant Final Four now that we have John Rothstein on the line. I thought that's what you're talking about. Yeah.
My Cougs.
No, he's like, I can't tell you how to get your account back, but I can tell you that Alabama's looking good next year. I'm like,
this could be the year for the Zags.
John, it doesn't matter. It's the middle of July. Andrew, you know John Rothstein. He's literally breaking down tape of Duquesne right now.
I have the 2029 recruiting class.
Yes.
Also, John Rothstein knows every conference realignment news before it happens because all the basketball coaches find out about it from the football coaches and feed it to the basketball reporters.
And like to pull the curtain really far back, because since we knew this happened to John, we were trying to connect John and Perloff to get Perloff tips to fix this.
Right.
So Maggie and I both went to our DMs and everything to find John's number, and my DM string with John doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, it's gone.
So I'm wondering now and clearly he works through DMs, like did he just lose like one of the largest head coach, AD, player, DM
Assistant
databases in the history of X?
Oh.
Like imagine
This is worse than Hillary's emails.
Right.
Honestly.
Like what's
John having a
on?
way worse morning than Perloff. We don't.
What are you talking about? I have contacts in here. I've been DMing C-list celebrities for years.
They don't answer though.
The other McLovin.
Yeah. You think we need Christopher Mintz-Plasse on the 30th anniversary of Superbad? You think you guys have that DM? I don't think so.
You don't have it anymore.
Now we're all screwed.
I wanted to talk to the son on Mr. Belvedere. Come on.
855-212-4227. Why I just gave the number out there. I don't know what anyone would possibly have to contribute to that conversation.
Please, whoever you are, call in and help me. We need help.
You got your hat
We
back.
need help. Or at least tell us when mustard expires.
Pick one.
Yeah. Help Perloff get his account back. If you're an IT expert out there, we'll take you. And also, does mustard go back?
And men's Final Four predictions.
Yes.
Sports.
Yay. We'll take them all. Coming up next, it's Friday, a little stock up, stock down. Who had a good week? Who had a bad week? Suddenly we have a new entrant into this conversation. We'll get to it next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
The M&P 500 on the Infinity Sports Network.
Time to take a little review of the week. Whose stock is up? Whose stock is down after a very eventful few days? Perloff, would you like to go first? Whose stock is up in your opinion?
Okay, it's not that big a deal, but Clayton Kershaw pitched yesterday, and I find myself rooting for middle-aged athletes now because I'm middle-aged. He's 36, and he pitched for the first time this season with his family there. Went 4 innings, didn't get the win, but looked good. The dude still throws like he can throw an 86-mile-an-hour pitch that totally freezes the hitter. I feel like Clayton Kershaw, like late Clayton Kershaw, I'd like to see one more run out of this guy. It just made me happy. And his family was there, and he seems like we don't know these people, but he seems like a really nice guy. Anyway, I was into it.
There you go. Clayton Kershaw is back. I mean, he's got a shot considering their team is awesome.
Yeah. By the way, that's a great spot to be in. There's an aging pitcher coming off an injury.
My stock up. I'll tell you what, I did not see this coming. Do you guys remember Connor Stallions? He was the staffer from the University of Michigan who was spying, allegedly, filming the sidelines of the Michigan opponents and got caught for it. Perloff, he's getting a Netflix documentary. I mean, this guy is going to be, he's already infamous. Now he's going to get a whole new level of fame. Maybe stock down for like society, but stock up for Connor Stallions, this embarrassing scandal. Now he gets to tell his side of the story. I don't know what Jim Harbaugh, like how is this going to look for Jim Harbaugh? And whenever this comes out, is it going to become a story for Harbaugh that he's going to have to answer for? Ooh. But for Connor Stallions, you get a Netflix documentary. They're doing Hope Solo and Connor Stallions, like American soccer goalie for 20 years and guy who was videotaping like the sideline of Central Michigan, like Chippewa. Like, this is crazy. Connor Stallions gets a Netflix doc. His stock is up.
How many hours until you've watched the whole thing? Say it comes out on a Friday at noon.
Oh, I am binging that.
Oh my God! First of all, you were binging it fast. You got a harmless conspiracy theory,
Yeah, I love
mustaches. It's gonna be great. I'm watching it
beard.
day one. Okay.
Stock down.
Okay, my stock down happened here when you were gone. There was some things said that I think people would not have said if you were here.
Okay.
Then again, you came in yesterday and were even dirtier than any of the guys, so maybe I was wrong about that. But there was one little rant in particular from Pat Boyle, who's our good friend who was doing updates. Weighed in on, it started with Olympic condoms, which has always been a thing, and went on from there.
Can I just say one thing, the quiet part out loud? You're 80 years old. It's probably tough enough to perform as is. You put a condom on, there is no chance of it happening.
Okay. We've already been towing the line all so long.
Was that the elephant in the room?
We're not going to get it. We're not going to get into that.
That had to be said.
We're not going to get into that.
What do you mean that had to be? Of course.
Usually everyone's thinking about the thing that you go, let me address the elephant in the room. No one else was thinking about that.
Nobody was thinking about that? You would put
I won't say
condoms
nobody.
on Granny and Grandpa? That ain't going to work.
So there was a real sports tie into this story.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck finding it. There may have been at one point.
You guys are surprised I got hacked.
Yeah, right.
I called for that. I mean,
Clearly
Pat
we're
Boyles
easy
would get
target.
hacked. Yes. By the way, it's so funny. We did millions of condoms. How long have we been doing the athletes having protection at the Olympics? That story's been around since 1996.
I mean, yeah, it's a great thing they have it, because I think for a lot of these athletes, like your event is over like within the first week, and yet you still get to hang out.
Well,
so all these young, attractive people in the peak physical prime, what do you think's going to happen?
I've never covered an Olympics. Are all these good-looking athletes walking around? Is it a huge party? What's going on?
I've covered 2 Olympics.
Yeah.
I was in the International Broadcast Center, so they were not coming around there. Not to my specific cubicle. Unfortunately, I never got to meet any of those, like a hot Australian swimmer or anything.
Wait, where were you?
I was in Athens and I was in Torino.
The two of the most beautiful places on earth, and you were in a cubicle?
I was just working long hours, but it was great. They were great experiences. Ate a lot. I gained a lot of weight.
Okay. Were any of the free condoms? Anyway, moving on.
No, not for the media. They didn't need them.
Yeah,
we were not the good-looking crew.
I can confirm that. As a longtime media member, I've never needed free condoms left at the hotel.
No, that was not 99 problems. That wasn't one.
Yeah, we more like a free bag of Doritos would be exciting.
Yes, exactly. Well, stock down on Pat Boyle. Bogish is right. Nobody was thinking that. Nobody.
No, Pat's great, though.
We
no
love
stock
Pat.
down, but that particular line of thinking was not acceptable.
My stock down has got to go to Canada. We discussed it earlier. It deserves to be mentioned again. The head coach, 2 other assistant coaches, all been reprimanded because they were spying on their opponent with a drone, trying to spy on a practice. And the worst part is you're spying on New Zealand. You shouldn't need a drone to beat New Zealand. No disrespect to New Zealand, but they're like the 28th team ranked in the world. Canada's like top 5. So they should all get sent home. I don't want the players to get in trouble for it. It's not their fault, but the coaches, good grief. So much for the Olympic spirit. There you go. Well, stock up, stock down. Maggie Perloff, take a little inventory on a Friday.
What do you learn from this drone footage of a soccer practice? I'm having trouble wrapping my head around it.
Pieces, maybe, or
change your plays.
Yeah.
I've said this for years. If you think you're getting spied on, change your plays.
Yeah.
Change your signs.
Yeah.
Change the playbook.
Change
you
your-
have to. Even if you get them in trouble, hey, they're spying. You have to be proactive and adjust, because you can get them in trouble, but still they're going to have an edge.
Right. This is what the Rams should have thought of.
This is what they
played the Patriots.
What the Jets should have thought of in Spygate.
That's immediately what I thought of was the Patriots and Spygate. But what Spygate did was different because it was actually a game. What they got caught in. I mean, there might have been more behind the scenes.
Spygate never stopped, guys. Like people
Yeah,
who think
yeah.
Spygate, the Patriots continue to tape sidelines. You know, they've
did it
got
way
their
before.
what's that?
They probably did it way before.
Peyton Manning always thought the locker room was bugged. I mean,
Well,
I get
that's
he
what-
could
I
be a
mean-
little paranoid, but I think Peyton was onto something.
They got caught taping the Bengals illegally a few years ago. I've always thought if you really wanted to cheat, you control the audio system. It's not that hard. I mean, Pete, you know a lot about production. Couldn't the Patriots just hack into the play and then have somebody signal down real quick saying a pass play is coming?
Oh yeah, something like that.
There's so many intercoms and walkie-talkies, that type of thing. They could have someone's ear to what's going on.
Right. I mean, the NFL knows this and is obviously very careful about that, I would imagine. But, it's called like the RF system. I mean, gosh, who knows?
There's so many people around the stadium during game day. So in my opinion, a team, if they think they're getting spied on, you got to be proactive. You got to change it up.
You know who's the most paranoid about this stuff is college football. I remember at Sports Illustrated, we used to go around doing this amazing tour. We'd go to like every college town. Perloff, you did something like this too. And we'd interview coaches and their star players called like the March to the Heisman. I forgot what the promotion was exactly. We do all these sit downs. And when I tell you, they didn't know who we were. And it's like, oh, here come some people from New York, coming in to interview you. And they were so paranoid because we had camera equipment because we were doing video. I mean, it was like clearly they had bad things had already happened or they were guarding against it. Meanwhile, then the Connor Stallions things happened and you realize, you were justified in being a little paranoid. So there you go. A little stock up, stock down. You're welcome to weigh in on your stock up and stock down for the week. I think, Perloff, your stock is teetering right now as you've been hacked, your social media account.
I will tell you, X is trying to help me with this, so I feel good about it, but I lost my X account, so if anything weird comes out from the @Andrew Perloff account, it ain't me. And or as Maggie said, something funny comes out for once, it ain't me.
So we could add something to that. So X, you could do a stock up on X, and you could do a stock down on John
before we
Rothstein.
do a stock up on X, I feel like the guy that's asking someone else to complete an order, while they're at that, Pearl, can they also figure out the Maggie and Pearl account so we can get our check?
EJ, stop. We want to stay in their good graces. Nothing, no criticism. They're awesome. We love them.
Yes.
We love them.
2 birds, 1 stone. I'm trying to be efficient here.
My stone is a lot bigger than yours, or my bird. I don't know which one in this analogy. Stop with all that.
My bird is bigger than your stone. It sounds like something Pat Boyle would late at night.
Yes. Peter Schwartzing saying it.
That's going to be it. Now I got another drop that's going to be pulled. I don't even, this is all, it's
my
Friday.
bird's bigger
It's a
than your
summer
bird.
Friday. I expected to come in and have a great, fun time. We have the sitcom bracket going on, and this has been the worst day.
Wait, Pearl, did you change the batteries on your smoke detector? Because this may be why this all started. Because Lenore yesterday said he's not changing the smoke detector battery until because it's good luck. Maybe you changed it and maybe that's the problem.
I don't know what happened. Nothing good is happening here.
EJ mentioned it, the final 4 of the sitcom bracket. It's live right now at Maggie and Pearl on X for as long as we still have that account. You can go and vote, and actually we're going to keep the voting up all weekend long. Usually it's about 24 hours. We'll keep it up all weekend. We'll give you the results on Monday.
By the way,
yes,
the finals will begin tonight. Home Improvement against Three's Company.
Love to vote, Pete, but I can't get in. Sorry.
I'll vote for Perloff 100 times for Home Improvement.
Wait, no way. Three's Company.
855-212-4227. Bogish has headlines for us. What else is happening in the world?
Oregon football did not disappoint upon arrival at its first Big Ten Media Days this week, floating a giant inflatable duck mascot down the Indianapolis River. Head coach Dan Lanning oversees an impressive machine.
We're mighty different in a lot of ways. You look out there in the pond, you'll see a big old duck. I'm hoping we get to travel that duck to all of our away games this year. Right? We're mighty different when it comes to the jerseys you might see us wear or the facilities that we get to be in, and we're innovative. And we've always been on the cutting edge of everything we do.
So the duck's going on the team plane.
That's amazing. The inflatable duck. How big do we think that it's huge?
It's gigantic, but they obviously have to deflate it, right, to get it on the plane. Okay.
What do you think, Dartmouth? Think they can just fly with that thing?
Brings us back
apparently, I'm an idiot, so what the heck do I know?
If anything weird comes out of my account, don't believe it. How are we going to decide what's weird or not when you say things like that?
Wait, they're deflating the duck, right? Here's the funny...
Well, first of all, the
I've
Eagles
noticed
are
something.
tired from the heat of the Super Bowl 4 months later.
Week 11.
Is that a real tweet or no?
So here's what I've noticed, a little theme and pattern going on with these Big Ten Media Days. The Pac-12 schools that are joining, why do they feel the need to overly explain who they are? Like, you don't think that we know that Oregon has different uniforms? Like, You don't think that the UCLA coach, Coach Foster, to tell everyone that UCLA is in Los Angeles?
So in Dan Lanning's defense, he was asked a question with the word mighty in it, and that's what his answer was. Deshaun Foster stood up unprompted and told us about Los Angeles.
Yeah. But we all know about the Oregon uniforms, especially a football crowd.
Can I say I clicked on an interview with Deshaun Foster yesterday? No scandal, no hacking.
Screens popped up.
He's like...
All of a sudden, Putin just
he's
popped
a very
up.
good talker.
Like, you lose.
The UCLA coach is a very good talker. I mean, there's no problem here. I don't know what happened. The rules were not set out for him. He got up in front of the Big Ten media and panicked, I guess. But
to Bogu's point, though, it feels like this media day thing feels very archaic. Like the idea that you have to go up there and do a little speech before you do a press conference, it feels very 1970s. So I feel like they're doing this because the practice is archaic. They're going to a new conference, so they're like, yeah, we're from LA. We have cool uniforms. What do you want me to say?
Just sell your program for 30 seconds. I like this from Sarah, who's in our chat, youtube.com/Infinity Sportsnet, twitch.tv/Infinity Sports Network, or you can watch us at my account right now, Maggie Gray on X. Sarah says, did the giant floating duck come out of their unlimited NIL budget?
Well, that's the next part of this. Georgia head coach Kirby Smart among those that said that this week about that endless NIL pool. Lanning responding on the Pat McAfee show.
I don't think we'd ever lose a recruiting battle if that was the case.
No, if that was the case. No, I heard that is the case.
Oh, that's what. Well, somebody's got to tell me about that. We don't have that yet. I think it's impressive that guys like Kirby have been signing the #1 class in the nation without any NIL money this entire time. So impressive.
Fight.
Hack his account.
Love it.
Did Dan Lanning himself say that, or was that hack?
That was AI Dan Lanning. Cap said that.
That's awesome.
So Dan Lanning never coached with Kirby, right? I know Dan Lanning was at Alabama, right? What's that?
No, he said in the interview that Kirby Smart's the most influential coach he's ever worked for.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's all in good fun, but I love it.
Woo.
I mean, listen, Jimbo and Nick Saban worked together, and they went back and forth at each other a couple of years ago.
Because Lanning worked under Smart at Georgia, right? I believe.
Oh, is Lanning at Georgia? Before? I don't. Yeah.
I think he worked at Georgia.
Oh, right. He's like, okay. So, yeah, this is nowadays though, you're allowed to admit that you cheated in the past, right? Like nobody cares anymore.
I don't know, unless like the rapper Common calls you out, like says Mike Krzyzewski, or not Common. Cameron said Mike Krzyzewski owns banks in North Carolina. He's funneling money to Christian Laettner. No, I don't think they're coming out now and saying that they cheated.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we all know that there was black market in the SEC. Like guys were getting paid, but nobody cares anymore. Like if Yahoo put out an investigation, like it wouldn't be a big deal, would it?
I might want to know the details. I'd want to know if Coach K actually did have an account and it was getting funneled to Cherokee Parks.
I think they
want to
ran a
know.
Car wash at one point.
What's
like
that?
in Breaking Bad, they had a car wash to launder the money.
It's a lot of dry cleaners, car washes, and nail salons.
Well, I think it depends on the coach. Like Coach K, someone very sanctimonious and a little arrogant. Like, if he got popped, that would be a big deal. If you're telling me another Jerry Tarkanian story, I'm throwing my hands up.
Right, and the NCAA, as far as I understand, the NCAA doesn't really investigate that stuff anymore, do they?
They got their hands full. I think they have their hands full. Trying to figure out the future of college athletics. I can't imagine they have the money or the manpower to start going back.
But right now they're sitting in their offices in Indianapolis wondering, what is that giant duck outside my window floating down the river? I wonder how they get that on the plane.
How many Ivy League grads does it take to get this inflatable duck back to Eugene?
You think the NCAA can figure it out? I'll tell you right now, they're with me. They have no idea. I mean, right now, Charlie Baker, the head of NCAA, is like, all right, well, even if you deflate it, it's still huge.
You went from being a politician to the head of the NCAA.
Yeah.
Yay.
The shocker.
That's someone I trust.
NFL holdouts and hold-ins don't just involve QBs and wideouts. Jets pass rusher Hassan Reddick now officially on the did not report list. He also skipped Gang Green's offseason program after that trade from the Eagles. Reddick still wants to make more than the $14.5 million he is scheduled to make for the coming season. Not sure you guys noticed, but the Mets won again last night.
And he drives one to right field over toward the line. Long run for Laureano, and he overruns it! And the Mets win the ball game! Laureano ran too far. Coming running home to score is Iglesias, and the Mets win it in 10, 3-2.
If only Perloff overran that link from John Rothstein. Gary Cohen, Ron Darling, Keith Hernandez on SNY. Braves right fielder Ramon Laureano should have caught that fly ball in the corner, but he did overrun it, couldn't reach back and make the catch. So Jeff McNeil got a game-ending RBI single. The Mets got a 3-2 win in 10 over the Braves. New York has won 5 in a row, a season-high 6 games over 500, and just 1 game behind Atlanta in the loss column for the top NL wildcard spot. The only
Real quick, just total identity theft would be better than having the Mets pass the Phillies this season. My Phillies are struggling all of a sudden, and your Mets are good. It's torture. Just steal my identity.
Don't worry about that. The only other game last night was the A's 6-5 win in Anaheim, and ahead of next week's trade deadline, the Mariners sending 2 prospects to Tampa Bay for outfielder Randy Arozarena, and Arizona adds Marlins lefty reliever A.J. Puck. Guys, back to you.
Bogusch, thank you. Coming up, the one thing you must know about NFL training camp. It is open across the country. We'll tell you next.
You're in a 5-minute break.
In the summer heat, he hit a grounder to the shortstop, tried to make it to first, but he tripped over his own feet. Oh man, it was the worst. Jack was on the mound, his face turning red. Come on, Dad, get up, this game's far from dead. To the shortstop, tried to make it to first, but he tripped over his own feet. Oh man, it was the worst. Jack was on the mound, his face turning red. Come on, Dad, get up, this game's far from dead. Oh, Andrew Bogusch, swaying side to side with a bottle in his hand. He gave it a good try, swinging at the pitches, stumbling on his feet, drunk on the diamond in the summer heat. So if you see a little league and laughter fills the air, look for Andrew Bogusch, you might find him there. With a grin and a wink, he'll raise a drink on high, playing ball with Jack's team under the summer sky. Andrew Bogusch had a plan on a sunny afternoon. Grabbed a bat and took the field under the summer moon. He said, Jack, let's show him how the Bogusch boys can play. But little did they know he had whiskey in his sway. Oh, Andrew Bogusch, swaying side to side with a bottle in his hand. He gave it a good try, swinging at the pitches, stumbling on his feet, drunk on the diamond in the summer heat. Jack's team was laughing as Dad took his stance, wobbling at the plate in a tipsy baseball dance. The coach was shaking his head, moms were all aghast, but Andrew Bogusch grinned, living in the past. Oh, Andrew Bogusch, swaying side to side with a bottle in his hand. He gave it a good try, swinging at the pitches, stumbling on his feet, drunk on the diamond in the summer heat. He hit a grounder to the shortstop, tried to make it to first, but he tripped over his own feet. Oh man, it was the worst. Jack was on the mound, his face turning red. Come on, Dad, get up, this game's far from dead. Oh, Andrew Bogusch, swaying side to side with a bottle in his hand. He gave it a good try, swinging at the pitches, stumbling on his feet, drunk on the diamond in the summer heat. He hit a grounder to the shortstop, tried to make it to first, but he tripped over his own feet. Oh man, it was the worst. Jack was on.
One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Okay, training camps open all across the country. We realize we've been just talking so much about contract stuff, holdouts, hold-ins. It's getting too much. We get it. You're all millionaires, and you're going to be even richer. Good for you. You deserve every penny, but we're a little exhausted. So we wanted to do some storylines for training camp Perloff that have nothing to do with contracts, only have to do with actual football. If I'm asking you for an actual football training camp storyline, what's the biggest one you're following?
Okay. I'm late to the party. I will admit this because earlier this offseason I said, I followed the tea leaves. The Steelers were giving the job to Russell Wilson at quarterback. Mike Tomlin kept on emphasizing it is Russell Wilson's job. It's Russell Wilson's job. And you were a bit skeptical. After yesterday, I am joining the Maggie Gray team.
Hey!
Now we got a quarterback battle.
Yes.
Russell Wilson woke up with calf soreness. He's old like me. That happens. Did not fully practice yesterday. He was actually out on the field throwing footballs at certain points. So Justin Fields got in, and I watched Mike Tomlin's press conference, and you could just see a little gleam in his eye, like, okay, maybe we got something here. And you said it, and I was still trying to resist. I can't resist anymore. This is a quarterback battle, and I am following this very, very closely now. Mike Tomlin plays his starters in the preseason. So we're also going to get a preseason battle, which could affect something. This is going to be, it's on. It is totally on. I'm a fan of Russell Wilson. I've known him a long time. I was kind of hoping there wouldn't be a quarterback controversy for his sake. I think there's a quarterback controversy, and I think it's going to be fun to watch for everybody.
I mean, I'm with you. I never believe a coach.
No, you've been, to be fair, Maggie, you have been here all along.
Well, what about my theory that they are actually doing this quarterback thing in the wrong order, as opposed to basically saying, Russell Wilson, it's your job to lose, and then we might go to Fields if things go wrong. I would have done it the opposite way. I would start with Fields, see how that's going, and then if I need to, like, hey, emergency ripcord, I've got Russell Wilson coming off the bench. Let's not forget, the Steelers' schedule is crazy, where the back half of the schedule is so stacked. This is why they have one of the toughest schedules in the NFL. So after their Week 9 bye, they go to Washington. Okay, then Baltimore, at Cleveland, at Cincy, Cleveland, at Philly, at Baltimore, Kansas City, Cincinnati. Like, I might want some experience if I'm really trying to make the playoffs and make a push here, and things don't work out with Justin Fields. At least I got Russell Wilson on the bench.
But the normal way is to start the old guy and then put in the young guy, usually a rookie. Like Eli Manning wasn't ready to go in. Kurt Warner had a 5-4 record with the Giants, and they pulled him for Eli Manning. That's how you normally do it. I think you need a veteran should be more ready to get pulled. Justin Fields, if you pull him after 5 games, his confidence is shot. He's a young quarterback. That's what I think they would worry about.
But, okay, remember last year? You're right. This is how it usually happens. But remember last year, the Cleveland Browns, who saved their season? Joe Flacco.
Yeah, okay.
And they made the playoffs. Now, they lost to the Houston Texans, but they did make the playoffs in a very tough AFC. Had they not had Flacco in the back pocket, I don't know if they're making the playoffs. The defense was awesome, but I don't know if they were making the postseason.
But I don't know what that did for them.
He kind of saved the season.
I mean, they got there and they got killed by the Texans.
Yeah, Joe Flacco won comeback player of the year. I mean,
so wait, Joe Flacco is your? This is not a real strategy. They need Joe. I understand what you're saying, but that was.
Having the veteran come off the bench at a really, a time when the season was like hanging in the balance, I kind of like that more than going to Justin Fields and he's going to be inaccurate and, or whatever. I don't know how Fields is going to play, but it feels like to have him coming off the bench when I just read that stretch of games for you, I don't know if that does what people think it's
Well, here's the bottom line with Pittsburgh. It's Mike Tomlin. You know how he wants to win the game. He wants it to be slow, aggressive. Slow defense. Arthur Smith is not going to open up the field at all. He's also quite conservative, their new offensive coordinator. So I think Russell Wilson kind of fits what he wants right now. He doesn't want turnovers. He has to gain faith in Justin Fields, that Justin Fields is going to be a clean quarterback. Now, Fields brings the running element, which is really interesting. So they're going to ball control you to death because, the Steelers have George Pickens, who's he could be a real number one receiver. And then they have games where they never throw him the ball. And I don't think that's going to change. I know they got rid of the bad offensive coordinator, Matt Canada, from last year. I just think they're a very conservative team. And that's why I think they like Russell Wilson. You saw him in Denver last year. He never made any mistakes. He kind of dinked and dunked down the field. I think Sean Payton was getting annoyed by that. But he's not going to kill you. Is that what Mike Tomlin wants?
So I think this is definitely one to watch.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh Steelers, no doubt on the field. Very, very interesting. And the minor injury of, not even injury, just taking it easy with Russell Wilson's calf, definitely, I think, cracked the door open. I'm with you on that. For me, again, we're doing training camp storylines that have nothing to do with contracts. Let's give that a rest for a second. Mine is what happens in Atlanta. So Kirk Cousins is clear to practice, right? You saw him going into camp yesterday. He says he feels good, much better than he did 6 weeks ago and all of that. But Kirk Cousins is not going to play any preseason. That would just be silly. The guy's in, year 13? He's coming off an Achilles. He's 36 years old. That doesn't make any sense. Michael Penix is going to play. We're going to see a lot of Penix.
Yeah.
And Penix has a lot of experience playing in college. He's a bit of an older quarterback. He's a guy who actually could maybe step in and have success right away in the NFL level. It's a possibility. So I think you're getting a straight-up quarterback situation in Atlanta. I am not moving off of that. If Penix looks really good here, what do you do? Do you actually go to Cousins? Because why? You paid him a lot of money?
Yes.
But you just drafted Michael Penix with the 8th overall pick. That's a massive investment as well. So You could say in Atlanta this is a good problem to have. I don't know if I see it that way because if Penix is so good, I want to start him and I want him playing.
Okay, so back to Russell Wilson. When he got to Seattle, they had just signed Matt Flynn, who then was a very big free agent deal, and Pete Carroll famously went with Russell Wilson. Cousins' deal is way bigger than Matt Flynn's. I mean, they gave him, I'm looking at the number, 4 years, 180. I don't know what the actual number was, but it's above $40 million a year. You can't have a $45 million a year backup quarterback, Maggie. You know the front office is not going to let that happen. I think the GM will run down on the field and say, get that guy out of here, Michael Penix. He did draft Penix.
It's the same GM who just drafted Penix with a top 10
I know,
pick.
but you can't pay all that money to Kirk Cousins. It'd be one of the most embarrassing signings of all time if he doesn't play.
But how about this? I'm just saying, if Penix is very good in the preseason and he shows that he can start right away, is there a thought of keeping Kirk Cousins as healthy as possible? Because Kirk Cousins obviously didn't feel great about Atlanta even drafting Penix in the first place, right? He left Minnesota because he said he didn't want to compete with a draft pick. Now that's his reality in Atlanta. You keep Kirk Cousins healthy, I know he has a no-trade clause, but you work something out with him, there's a market for Kirk Cousins next year. Hell, he could be the next Dallas Cowboys quarterback. We have no idea. He could be the next Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback. He could be the next anything. I think you keep Kirk Cousins healthy, and maybe there's something you can get in return if Penix looks really good.
Well, if Kirk Cousins, if he can't start in Atlanta, I mean, is he really going to get a first-round pick or anything elsewhere? I thought you were going to say have him be like the closer, like, you throw Penix to the Wolves for 8 weeks, then Kirk comes in like a middle reliever. And
well, this is what I'm talking about in Pittsburgh.
I know.
Fields starts, and then Russell Wilson comes in to clean it up. You could do the same thing in Atlanta.
I just think the optics are important for that front office. Yes, it was controversial enough to take a quarterback after you just signed Kirk Cousins. I think they got to give Cousins some run.
855-212-4227. So we're doing non-contract training camp storylines. Because goodness knows we've had enough contract talk around here. And there'll be more to come because everyone keeps telling me that Jordan Love is at the 2-yard line. Yep. It's at the 1-yard line. It's at the 1-inch line. No contract. Nothing. Bub kiss. He's still not practicing.
Maybe he got hacked. He really did sign it. We just don't know yet.
Perloff wants a little company.
Oh.
Perloff got hacked this morning, but we're making the best of it. We've also got Dallas Cowboys news for you. It's Maggie Perloff.
My life, spent some good money, cut the water strife. But now I'm sitting here with my glass in hand, wondering if it's just a scam. Oh man, oh man. Brita filters don't do a thing, just another product with a fancy ring. Pour the water in, let it do its dance, but my tap tastes the same, don't stand a chance. Perloff, Maggie Gray, hear my plea. Brit is just a trick, can't you see? Every drop that flows through, it's all the same. Brita's got our wallets, but it's all a game. Brita filters don't do a thing, just another product with a fancy ring. Pour the water in, let it do its dance, but my tap tastes the same, don't stand a chance. Andrew Perloff, Maggie Gray, hear my plea. Brita's just a trick, can't you see? Every drop that flows through, it's all the same. Brita's got our wallets, but it's all a game. Brita filters don't do a thing, just another product with a fancy ring. Pour the water in, let it do its dance, but my tap tastes the same, don't stand a chance. I trusted in the hype, thought it'd be alright, but every sip I take, it's like day and night. Gotta face the truth, can't hide the fact. Brita filters, they don't have your back. Conspiracies abound like fluoride in the tap. Brita's just another in their hidden trap. Don't fall for the hype, keep your money tight. Maggie and Perloff, you know I'm right. Brita filters don't do a thing, just another product with a fancy ring. Pour the water in.
Big Zoo's got a secret, it's not hard to tell. He loves the Golden Girls, they're his bombshell. From Blanche to Dorothy, Rose to Sophia, his heart's in the villages, living the utopia. Big Zoo's heart is golden, just like his favorite show. In the villages, he's got that retirement glow. Loving older women, they're his cup of tea. Big Zoo and the Golden Girls, that's his fantasy. Every episode, he's laughing out loud. In the villages, he's feeling so proud. Older women with stories, wisdom in their eyes. Big Zoo's living large, no surprise. Big Zoo's heart is golden, just like his favorite show. In the villages, he's got that retirement glow. Loving older women, they're his cup of tea. Big Zoo and the Golden Girls, that's his fantasy. He strolls through the villages every night and day with the Golden Girl spirit leading the way. From
One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Life after Dak Prescott for the Dallas Cowboys could be coming into clearer view. Hey, welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. We got a state of the Cowboys yesterday from Jerry Jones. I'll give you the cliff notes. It was long. It was meandering. It was hard to understand. But when it came to Dak Prescott, it was, we love Dak, but we know that we can't always get what we want. And we might not be able to sign everybody to a contract. And it feels like he would be the odd guy out.
Well, Jerry sent contradictory messages because he did say, I think Dak's going to be here a long time. But you're right. Then he did say this, hey, I can't always get what I want. And then Dak, to complete the story, said, hey, other great quarterbacks have gone other places. I can basically picture myself elsewhere. So my question for you is, and I'm having trouble figuring this out, is this negotiating going on right now? Because in the past, the Cowboys have had a lot of contract situations, and most often it gets resolved,
right,
and they do sign these guys. I don't think this is just a normal Zach Martin, Ezekiel Elliott, DeMarcus Lawrence, like a guy wants a big money and he's going to get him. I think this is really happening. I think Dak's going to be playing on his final year. And again, I could be wrong. Jerry did say he wants him long term, but the way they're both sort of circling around each other feels like this could really happen. We could go into this season without a contract for Dak.
Well, let's tell you and illustrate this a little bit. So we will give you a little Jerry. Let's do cut 22, please, Pete, where Jerry Jones did say this is how the answer to the Dak Prescott question started, and then we'll tell you how it ended. So here's how it started when he said this won't be Dak's last year with the Cowboys.
I do not think that this will be his last year with the Cowboys at all. It's pretty clear, I think. I want to say it if it hadn't been clear, of how much we appreciate what Dak Prescott has meant to this team in a positive way.
Okay, so that was the first half of the answer. The second half of the answer, this is all the same answer, because, Jerry can kind of go on, where he uses an analogy saying, listen, I want him, but I don't always get what I want.
Believe it or not, in my life, I've had a lot of things I wanted that I couldn't get because I couldn't afford it. Now, have I learned to live with that in 80-something years? You bet I have, and life does go on. And sometimes when you get a bump like that, you turn around and do better than you would have had you got what you wanted.
Ooh.
I mean, what else are you supposed to take away from that besides this could be a blessing in disguise that we can't afford Dak Prescott?
Right. Then we get to start over with a rookie. He was there when Tony Romo hurt his back and he found Dak Prescott. I think in the back of his mind, he thinks he can do it again.
So Stephen Jones also weighing in on the sort of big three, if you will, of Dak, CeeDee Lamb, and Micah Parsons. These are three guys that in theory the Cowboys would all like to sign. But Jones says that both Parsons and CeeDee Lamb want to be the highest paid non-quarterbacks.
Both of them, rightfully so, believe they should be the highest paid non-quarterback in the league. And totally respect that. So very difficult situations that we're trying to work through with them.
Right. I mean, listen, if I was their agents, I'd be saying that kind of stuff too. And to be honest, the Cowboys really have only themselves to blame here, in my opinion, because if these guys want to be paid, Lamb and Parsons want to be the highest non-paid quarterbacks in the league, highest paid non-quarterbacks in the league, well, that price was different 6 months ago than it is now. Maybe not so much for Parsons, but I'm saying for Lamb. They've been working on this for a while. You had time where you would have reset the market, and then Justin Jefferson would have reset it after you. Or you could have, reset. You didn't have this could have been avoided, is what I'm trying to get at.
I know. But
they took their sweet time.
Here's where we are now, though. It's a sunk cost in the sense that it could have been avoided, but now it can't be avoided. So, Micah Parsons will be the highest paid defensive end. He's up. I think there's no doubt about that. Now, CeeDee Lamb, I think Justin Jefferson deserves more money. I would think the Cowboys could call CeeDee and say, hey, instead of 35, can you take 33? And I'm sure it sounds like CeeDee is like, no, I want 35. I want 36. But, yeah, I understand what's going on here. I think they pay Micah. They negotiate hard with CeeDee because I think they can afford to lose him. And then I think that they're getting tired of Dak. I really do believe that. Like, if Dak doesn't win this year, then they think he's never going to win.
We put a poll out for you on X, the non-hacked account. That would be Maggie and Pearl. So far hasn't been hacked. I should probably knock on wood. Perloff's account got hacked this morning. We're working that out. He's going to be fine. This is the non-hacked account. And we asked, if you are the Dallas Cowboys, who are you paying if you could only pick one? Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, or Micah Parsons. And right now, it's overwhelmingly Parsons at 54%. The other two are splitting 20 in the low 20s. I think this is all wrong, guys. I'm going to respectfully disagree with all of you, which is Dak Prescott is actually the most important person that they re-sign. The most. You have nothing if you don't have a quarterback. And how many teams
disagree with you, though. There's one Super Bowl player on that list, and it ain't Dak Prescott, and it ain't CeeDee Lamb.
Okay, well, nobody thought that Matthew Stafford was a Super Bowl winning guy until he went somewhere else.
Okay. Dak could win somewhere else. He's not winning a Super Bowl in Dallas.
But here's the thing. Matthew Stafford was still a great quarterback when he was in Detroit. It wasn't because he wasn't good.
Right.
And it's not, and the Cowboys not winning the Super Bowl is not because Dak's not good. You can say that he didn't have a good game against the Packers. I will grant you. Show me the person who did have a good game against the Packers. That was a complete failure on every level for the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. For Dak only to wear that is silly. We all know that would be unfair. He's a runner-up for the MVP.
Yep.
How many teams turn their back on that? It just, be careful what you wish for. You're gonna find out that life on the other side without Dak Prescott is not going to be as rosy, and this grass might not be as green.
Well, you said Detroit. Matthew Stafford was like Dak. Life after Matthew Stafford has been fantastic in Detroit because of all the goodies they got in return for trading Matthew Stafford. Life was good for Stafford. He needed to go to L.A. Life was good for Detroit. They needed to move on with it. They got rid of a really good quarterback and got better.
How and who thought Jared Goff was actually going to have this renaissance? That is like
it's not even about Goff. It's about all the other guys they got. The trade. I just pulled up the trade. They got Sam Laporta,
right?
Arguably the best tight end in football right now. Jahmyr Gibbs, I think the best running back in football. Jameson Williams has not really worked out, the former Alabama receiver. They got Goff. So they got everything out of this deal, and now they're third in odds to win the Super Bowl next year.
And what would be the big difference if the Cowboys are moving on from Prescott than the way the Lions moved on from Stafford? He's walking out the door. You're not trading him. You're not even getting a possibility with Jared Goff, which felt like a lottery ticket at the time. And oh, by the way, don't forget, the Lions went 3-13 with that first year with Goff. Like, you had to sit. That wasn't immediate payoff. Like,
right.
They really believe in Dan Campbell. They really stayed the course with Goff. I'm just saying, be careful here, and let's not forget everything we know about this league, which is that the quarterback's the most important position. But sure, what is Micah Parsons going to do when you're down 3 scores? What? He's going to do what? He can't affect the game like that if the Cowboys are down. The only player that does that is Dak.
Let's look at some recent Super Bowls. 2015, who won that Super Bowl for the Broncos? Was it Peyton Manning? No, it was your guy, Von Miller.
Yeah.
Who won that 2021 Super Bowl, Rams-Bengals? Was it Matthew Stafford? No. That was one player took the team on his back in the fourth quarter and said, we are not losing. His name was Aaron Donald. You can win. Micah Parsons is unique. Nick Bosa What I mean, the Niners, you said, like, do they need Purdy? Maybe, but they definitely need Bosa. When Bosa's not on the field, they stink. So they don't stink, but they go way down. The year he got hurt was a really bad year. So I disagree. I think these great defensive players are rare, and they can win Super Bowls. And Micah is in that category. I mean, he's one of the top 3 defensive players in the league consistently. He's the guy you got to sign.
855-212-4227. So there you go. That's the question today. If you could only sign one, is it Dak? Is it CD? Is it Micah? Let's go to our pal Braden is in Colorado. What's up, Braden?
Morning. How y'all doing?
We're awesome. How are you?
Doing good. Hey, just wanted a couple things real quick. I'll answer your question first.
Sure.
I think out of the 3, it's Micah Parsons for a lot of the reasons Perloff was just talking about,
Yep.
but even a few more like. You got a piece like that. There's no more Micah Parsons walking around, and to be honest with you, there's no combination of 2 that bring what Micah does to the Cowboys. So that's the piece on the defensive side. You build the ball, you build around. You can have a good quarterback, even a great quarterback, and there's still going to be some pieces required around on the offensive side. Obviously, it makes it a little tougher to do when you're paying 46, 47, 50 million a year. So, look, out of those 3, not saying Dak's doesn't deserve it, not saying CD doesn't deserve it, but if you're choosing one of the 3, it's going to be Micah.
I totally agree. You got to do. Thank you, Braden. You got to do wins above replacement is a analytic
baseball term, yeah.
Right. So the question is, can you find another Dak? It's going to be really hard, but maybe. Can you find another CD Lamb? Going to be really hard, but maybe. You're not going to find another Micah Parsons. So you invest in him, and then you try and find another quarterback because there are no more Micah Parsons.
Okay, I would just ask, if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan and you're listening to this and you have an all-time grade in TJ Watt,
yes.
And where have you gone? Because you've got no quarterback. You cannot win a playoff game. And I'll ask, if you are a Raider fan and you're listening to this and you have Devontae Adams, but you don't have a good quarterback, where are you going?
I would go with Max Crosby in that analogy.
Okay,
but yeah.
or Max Crosby.
Right.
Let's say that. You have Max Crosby. Where are you going? You're not going anywhere.
If you're the Dallas Cowboys and you have Dak Prescott a quarterback, where are you going?
I know at least I'm a playoff team. I know that. At the minimum, I'm a 12-win playoff team. And, again, to saddle Dak with all these losses, like he's the one out there throwing 5 picks in a playoff game, is just not true.
This team is overdue a rebuild. Let's be honest. I mean, they've never really done a full rebuild because they're the Dallas Cowboys and they're on TV every single game.
Yeah.
They generally, might be time to think differently there. That's all I'm saying. I'm a fan of Dak Prescott. He's a very good quarterback, but this might not be the situation for him or for the team.
All right. They're going to run things differently in Dallas.
Oh, is that where you're laughing?
Yeah, I'm laughing. Who, Jer? Jared, finally, the guy who says, some days I'm a riverboat gambler, and the other days it looks like I'm protecting the national vault.
I mean,
whatever way the wind's blowing, Jer.
Well, listen, there are obviously some smart people there. Will McClay, and I think Steven has done some smart things. So, they made a lot of good draft picks, and Jerry at this point, maybe he's not really the GM, Maggie. Have you ever thought about that? Maybe it's just symbolic.
Oh my gosh. So here's Jerry yesterday. This is underscores. Cowboy fans, you might want to close your ears for this one, on his tolerance for ambiguity.
We've got a lot of ambiguity in the team. I have ambiguity everywhere in the things that I look at and do. And so I'm maybe the best thing that that God gave me was a tolerance for ambiguity.
That's leadership right there. What's the vision? I don't know. It's foggy. A lot of ambiguity. What direction are we going? Not sure. Ambiguity, but I'm cool with it, so everyone else has to be.
Well, I mean, he's consistent. He's on message because he's saying one thing out of one side of his mouth, another thing on the other side of his mouth, and 3 other things in the middle of his mouth. You know what your problem is?
What's that?
You're trying to make sense of Jerry Jones.
How dare I?
Yeah, what are you doing here?
Silly me. At Maggie and Pearl on X is where you can go vote. If they can only pay one, who should it be? The Cowboys, that is. Dak Prescott, Micah Parsons, CD Lamb. Okay, coming up, we've got more non-contract training camp stuff for you. Actual football. We'll get to more of that next.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
A lot going on around here. Unexpected turbulence this morning with Perloff's social media account getting hacked by nefarious ne'er-do-wells. Ne'er-do-wells? whatever.
I'm actually impressed that he's still here and has any modicum of concentration, which is not
He
a
doesn't.
strong suit, for being honest.
Because the people who are sending me notes saying, "Did you get hacked?" or no, they're not important people in the industry. Like whatever.
It's a 60 Minutes
This
correspondent John Wertheim is like, "Are you okay? Blink twice if you're being held hostage
This is
by
awful.
Musk."
This is awful.
I'm sorry. You're going to be fine though. It's all going to get worked out.
Caitlin Clark's giggling somewhere about actually getting forearmed by Holy Cross Girl.
It's all payback from Caitlin
slow
Clark's
play
people.
karma. She's on vacation, and you're sitting here in XL.
Can we be honest? This is really terrible. Like, I don't know if they're going to be able to recover it. And they said they were going to put a stop. Oh, my God.
Okay, but here's the thing. So we've identified that you got a bad link from John Rothstein, the college basketball insider.
Stay humble.
What's that? Stay humble. Stay hungry. Where would we be without John? You're not blaming Rothstein. Like, you're not holding it against him. He got hacked. Now you got hacked. Just like John Wertheim, 60 Minutes correspondent and friend, is not holding it against you. That you just got unlucky. It's like hitting a bad, like anti-roulette.
I'm very flat. I mean, I have huge respect for John Rothstein. Nobody in this industry works harder.
I know.
He's so smart and interesting. Like, I'm actually a bit honored to have clicked on, but I don't think people necessarily have the same reaction to me.
You're honored that you got hacked by John Rothstein's
Oh, my
account.
God.
It's been an honor and a pleasure.
Yeah. Oh, my God. This is so awful.
Perloff is descending into madness.
It's a different note. They sent out these. They're trying. Oh, God.
Meanwhile, me and Maggie have gotten nothing. We follow both you and John. So are they value judging us, Maggie, that we're not important enough to try and get into this web of hacking?
I don't think we have enough followers. Wow. This is for the 100K plus crowd. Please tell me you got that.
Oh, we're getting that.
There you go. Hey, can I tell you something? Things could be a lot worse. Did you see the story about the two astronauts who went up to space thinking
and never
they were,
came back?
No, they were going to be there for 8 days. So you basically pack for an 8-day trip. It's been 45 days. There's been these leaks, like helium leaks. It's something that has to do with Boeing, obviously. That disaster that never stops because of all the Boeing situation. Meanwhile, they're not just making airplanes, they're making spacecraft. And now these two people, this man and a woman who thought they were going to be together for 8 days, have been there for like months, and it could be even longer until they get home.
Because the ship is not sturdy enough to survive the return?
Apparently, there's like some leaks, some helium leaks that they didn't identify before. So if they re-enter the atmosphere, they could just burn to a crisp.
Roll the
dice. I don't
dice.
know much about space travel, but I will say if you're leaving the atmosphere, I think you're packed for a couple of extra weeks.
Are you sure? How many spacesuits can fit into one suitcase?
I mean, this is not going down to, driving down to, Delaware to see your grandpa. I mean, this is, you're leaving the atmosphere. You don't know what's going to happen.
How many pairs of underwear do you think someone packs for an 8-day trip and then it turns into 45 days? Can you do laundry in space? I doubt it.
You got to be able to do laundry in space, right?
Who cares about laundry? How are they eating? Did they have enough rations for this?
It didn't cross my mind. I was too hung up on the underwear. I didn't really think about it. Don't you have to, do you have to wear a diaper at night? I have no idea how you go to the bathroom in space. It's something about a vacuum, I think. But anyway, I just...
Yikes.
This is rough. Also, what if you didn't like the person? And it's like, well, I can tolerate him for a week and a half. And it's like, nope, now it's 42 days. There's going to be
No, I'm signing up. Give me all the drama. I'm not rooting for breaking up families, but imagine if they come out of this and they're like completely in love.
Also,
could be. I don't know.
What if you have a stomach issue in space?
Another great question. Again, how do you go to the bathroom in space? No clue. Again, I do think it's something to do with a vacuum. But I'm not sure.
But again, they're going to be there for 8 days. So they were going to go to the bathroom in space. That's not the problem. The problem is how are they going to survive being there for 10 times longer than they thought?
Astronaut ice cream?
You
that
can
stuff's
be
going to get
dirty.
real old.
I mean, you don't want to smell nice while you starve to death.
I just feel like you have to pack way more than you normally would. I just don't think you're treating this like Maggie going to Lake Michigan. I think you gotta.
I just lost a suitcase for 4 days.
For months.
It was a disaster. I mean, I had to go to the dollar store and get all new stuff. I can't do that in space.
I'm a little worried about this show because I have this torn patella tendon. Then you had this terrible travel, and then Perloff has this hacking.
Oh,
I think Bogus and Pete be very careful about how you guys move.
No, Perloff has a theory for why the vibes have been
we all know what's going on here. Good dear friend of everybody here, Stugatz from the Le Batard show with Stugatz is in the building this week. He's co-hosting the morning show for WFAN. I've been hanging out with him all week. Just the energy of Stugatz has caused nothing but trouble. First of all, me and him were walking on the street the other day. I almost got hit by a car.
What?
Total, because
he pushed you into the road?
No, honestly, because he's quite entertaining. And I was looking at him as we were talking and walked in. There was no car, so I walked in the middle of the street. Then someone flies out of nowhere. I did go against the light. But
how you make it through a day sometimes is
I was fine before Stugatz got here. Now the Stugatz energy is rubbing off. So of course, honestly, I don't even know. I don't know. I'm so upset right now because a lot of people are sending me, I got this note from you, and they're going to do the same thing I did, and I just feel bad for them. Do not.
You're a super spreader.
You get a DM from me. Do not click on it. That is all. Anybody out there?
Got that, America? Don't click on anything from Perloff.
So Maggie, you should send out can you send out a note? Don't click on anything from my friend, but don't put my Twitter name because it doesn't exist.
They're gonna think it's a bit.
Oh, it's back.
Everyone stop
It is.
following
Your
Perloff.
name is back.
Oh, it's back.
Your name is back, but it's still retweeting X data.
Help.
What do you mean?
I'm sure they'll get right
is it
on it.
interesting X data?
It's a bunch of politics. So snoozer.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, as if this morning couldn't get any worse.
Oh yeah, there you are.
What did I say?
At least you can be found again, but you've got no profile picture.
Yeah,
so you should definitely talk smack to people.
Got the egg?
No, there's no egg. I wish the egg was there.
Oh, a lot of people watched the Republican National Convention this weekend.
Elon ruined everything.
Women's sports is buzzing.
Well, I'm fine with that. What else did I say?
The scale of global conversation on X was staggering about the last presidential debate. In the first 4 days of Euro 2024, the conversation on X generated 5.5 billion impressions.
Oh, you're now just a Twitter PR account.
It's Perloff.
I'm back.
Perloff reposted. Perloff reposted.
No, I just went and I have some of my most popular tweets, which is interesting to me.
What's your most popular tweet?
Mustard.
There's two.
Does mustard go bad?
Matthew Tkachuk saving a goal at the end of, I think, Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final this year. It's the most incredible play ever. And Adam Gase, when he was a Jets coach, ripping smelling salts before a preseason game. Those are the two most viral, of course.
You know what? Yeah, I mean, how did I not guess that?
That was not an elbow. The last Perloff post that looks like an actual Perloff post is the Athlon Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, yeah, that's a good article.
You had. That's from 11 hours.
Oh, here's one of me. This is amazing. Here's me dressed as Andy Reid with a foggy mask for Halloween in 2021.
It's like walking down memory lane. Can I ask you guys a question about those smelling salts? Has anyone ever done them?
No.
Are you curious?
Yes.
Me too. Super curious.
I'm scared.
Why? Was it going to freeze your brain?
Yeah, I'm not into taking. I was scared to go under for surgery. I don't want to take anything.
That's normal. I don't know.
Normal? Really?
Yeah, to be scared for.
I'm scared of all drugs. I'm like the doctor told me I was gonna take a Percocet like for my knee, and you should have seen my face. And Andrea, my fiance, is like, "You'll be fine. Get over it." I'm scared of all drugs, substances, I don't want any of this.
All the messaging worked on EJ.
Seriously, yeah. That DARE briefcase.
Yeah, I was gonna say that DARE program really got you.
Seriously, thank my Gen X dad.
And EJ, you don't really drink much either.
No, I don't do anything. I really don't.
You play much video games.
I play EA college football for 12 hours, and the rest of it is spent watching Marvel movies.
I think that we have found our next bet.
What? EJ has to do a shot or something?
No, not that. Smelling salt. Whoever loses has to rip a smelling salt like Adam Gase.
Sure.
That bad.
Sure. I mean, I drink about 47 cups of coffee a day. It might have a similar effect.
Hold on. Hey, speaking of bets, real quick, let's go back to another bet that we canceled.
I know what you're talking about.
We know we canceled the gassers for EJ, obviously, because he's hurt.
Yes.
But there has to be something else in place of that. Now, I'm not saying he has to go run a 50-yard dash or anything like that. I'm saying something else has to be put in place for that.
Okay.
He and I get drunk at a 10-year-old baseball game.
And one half of that bet's already been paid off. Bogusch did it last night. You're up, EJ.
I'm not playing center field. I only got one knee, but I can do the drinking part maybe.
Oh,
no, I agree. I'm not ducking. And I've had people on X also like coming at me like, "Oh, you didn't pay." My knee imploded, dude. What do you want from me?
It was bad.
I had no problem. You guys saw me run for 10 seconds, but like I have no problem running. Like I had no problem doing the bet. It's just I can't do it now.
Yeah,
but
you
I
were
don't do
fine.
anything else.
You were fine going station to station.
Also, when you look up dodging a bullet in the dictionary, it's EJ not getting injured running those gassers at a Maggie and Perloff show bet.
Exactly.
Dodging a bullet in terms of legalese of this show.
That would not be good.
That so much, guys. You don't understand. Like I've been thinking about that. I'm like, if I didn't play kickball and then my first time like running on turf like that would have been this bet that would have been videotaped. I mean, that would have been the most embarrassing moment of my entire life, and like a terrible thing for the show. I'm glad this happened in this way and not on the show.
I got to be honest. I mean, you're looking at this all wrong. Yes, it would have been terrible for the show. Perloff and I likely would never work again, but you'd be rich.
No, let's not even talk about this, okay? Because we do show bets.
Okay.
Like we have to, we get in trouble with management enough already on these things.
Maybe I wonder how they'll feel about the smelling salts one. Let's go.
I'll go for that.
Right up your brain. All right, we'll think about that. EJ should have to do something.
Swimming in Odyssey coins, EJ, after getting hurt during a bit and suing the company.
Backstroking through all of your Odyssey bucks.
Oh, look, a mug.
I'll have a ski cap and a backpack and socks.
Easy. Easy. Not too much. What's up? We got headlines, folks.
Well, EJ just mentioned this. Last Friday was the tech outage that had Maggie in the airport for 12 hours. This Friday, it's the Twitter hack. In between, we've had vandals targeting France's train system today on the day of the opening ceremonies in Paris. These folks set strategic fires around the system to disrupt service to the extent that people are being told to not even bother going to the station. Repairs might be not be done until the end of the weekend.
Oh, my goodness.
Is this terrorism? Like, what is this?
I mean, is it? I guess it's technically terrorism, but it's not like a terrorist group is trying. Did
anyone claim it?
It was meant to handcuff the system. It was not meant to hurt anybody, but it was meant to not let the trains travel. And apparently they did it from the east, the west, and the north, the three biggest surrounding areas to get to Paris, where you can't get out of there to get into Paris to see the opening ceremonies.
That's far from just a joke or something.
Yeah,
no, it was a coordinated attack.
Wait, did they say who did it? I'm sorry.
I don't know that a group has said that, hey, that was us. But it was definitely planned and a large scale thing.
This might be a long 2 weeks.
Yeah, you're right.
We were talking about it. I saw a Jeremy Schaap report from ESPN. He said he's been to many Olympics. He's never seen security like this. He said that they're terrified.
Yes.
Also, the way the opening ceremony is going down the Seine. It's not in a stadium. It's going through the whole city. Guys are going to be on boats, so it's such a large area to cover and to secure.
And
I was there last month, and I mean, the security was already in place. I mean, you can't go to the Eiffel Tower. Me and my fiance tried to go to the Eiffel Tower, and it's like a full, not even a gate. It's almost like a wall around the Eiffel Tower, and it's like metal detectors, it's dogs. This was a month before, so I can't even imagine what it's like now.
And it hasn't even technically started yet. And we've had this. We've had the Canadian women's soccer thing. We've had some weird, IOC fighting with the countries over the World Anti-Doping Agency.
China, the China swimmers.
Right. And I've seen things now that the athletes are complaining about. There's not enough food in the village. The busing system is not working to venues. And the games haven't even technically started yet.
Wait, but has Bob Costas gotten pink eye yet?
It's still early for that.
I forgot about that. That was crazy.
No farting on pillows.
My goodness, that was. I think that was the only thing I remember about that Olympics.
Do you guys remember when I had pink eye 2 months ago and pretended I didn't?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was annoying.
Great time.
I was very
Looks
mad.
like you have pink eye. You're like, no.
Actually,
I definitely don't.
Full disclosure, I disclosed to Maggie, I'm like, I'm pretty sure I have pink eye, but I'm not going to tell any of the other guys.
And I was like,
Oh, we knew, and we judged you.
Yep, there you are. Oh, that's your bloody face that Kaplan has.
Oh. Yeah, that's.
Gosh,
I don't
it's
know.
just been all these maladies.
Well, how did he find that?
Is that stung by a bee in your face? I feel like what's with that eye?
Oh yeah, you got stung by a bee on your face. Remember that?
Oh yeah. That was on
last week.
That turned out to be fine. That's when I got.
It turned out to not be Stugatz's fault, so we're learning here.
Yeah,
You've
right.
been in a bad rut for a while.
That was 2 years ago. 14 stitches above my eye from a basketball injury. Tried to steal the ball from Danny. Damn, Danny.
How's your knee, by the way?
Oh,
Did
terrible.
Stugotz do that too?
I don't know. I have to go to PT after for 6 months in a row for my skiing accident.
I mean, what Danny?
Oh,
was
the
it Manning?
skiing
Who did you try to steal the ball from?
Danny Greenberg? I don't know.
I didn't even say Danny Patrick.
Well, first of all, no. Okay. EJ's sitting up there with a torn up knee. You took 72 hours to get to Michigan.
Yeah.
Who's had the worst? First of all, Stugatz is causing all this by being 2 studios down. But who's had the worst luck over the last 2 weeks?
Bogish went on vacation to a baseball tournament.
Yeah.
They didn't play a game.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was crazy too.
Pete Bellotti, you have any bad luck recently?
Let's go back to the.
Anything bad?
Let's
ever
go
happen
back.
When's your birthday again?
Let's go back to the fall of 2013.
The divorce papers
Start
were
there.
the ink was barely
Saying
dry.
I do the first time. Then you can go to
You're walking down the aisle and your body, you actually left your body.
Right.
You hovered over yourself looking down like, don't do it.
I was dead for 8 months, and then so back to then in June of 20. Want me to continue?
Yeah.
Keep going.
I just wish I had like a large scroll of paper to dramatically
Hear ye.
unfurl with all of the stories.
Hear ye, annulment.
Yada, yada, yada. You're doing great now.
Yeah.
Where's the bell? Someone ding the bell.
Oh my gosh, where are the bells?
Yeah, Pete, get the trivia out. Someone got a bell?
I forgot about the bell's in the office. I didn't bring it
No,
up.
I brought the bell over.
Oh, you did.
Bogus dinged it.
There we go.
All right, here we
Starting
go.
when I had hair.
He's right. 1996.
Great year for hip hop.
3rd grade.
Who has the nickname Prime Time?
Hey, ding, ding, ding.
That's Maggie.
Dion. Where's
Dion.
our Sanders?
Got it.
Dion
Fair
Warwick.
question, yeah.
Deion Branch.
Yeah.
You want one more?
We haven't done a
Yes.
daily Dion in a minute.
In 2020, this wide receiver broke the record for most consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. Who is it?
What was it?
Mike Evans? No.
Yes.
Yeah.
You are correct. Perloff.
Wow, that was back in 2020? Okay.
That's
One
it.
more?
One more? Okay.
Good things coming threes?
Damn it. Who was the first African-American player to be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
Jim Brown?
No.
Oh. Madsen? Ali Madsen?
No.
Oh.
Who is it?
Emilio Tunnel.
Would not have guessed that.
Okay, one more.
Turtles Beg Hipsters is an... I don't like this question. Hang on. Go on.
Okay.
I need to.
What?
Turtles bag
Don't worry
hipsters.
about it.
Turtle Bay hipsters. Who knows where that was going?
All right. How long is an official NFL football field, including end zones?
Oh.
120 yards.
Maggie. No, you don't say things out loud.
I tapped.
I was gonna say 120, 110
Okay.
for
All
Denver.
right, you guys split the answer.
Split the point.
What about Canada? How far is that?
More wide, isn't it?
No, it's the end zone's longer.
We're
Yes,
talking
it is.
NFL.
All right. Fair enough.
There we go. And that's the trivia. And that's that. We'll get to the rest of it next hour, Bug. Coming up, one young stud quarterback making a big return. I'll tell you about it next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes.
Pete Bellotti, you have any bad luck recently?
Let's go back to the
anything bad.
When's your birthday again?
Let's go back to the fall of 2013.
The divorce papers were barely, the ink was barely dry.
Saying I do.
Pete Bellotti, you have any bad luck? You have any bad luck? Pete Bellotti, you have any bad luck? Pete Bellotti, you have any bad luck recently?
One minute, 30 seconds remaining.
In Peter Bellotti's world, it's always a Tom Hanks scene. From Big to Castaway, he's the fan club dean. In his living room, it's a movie marathon with Tom on the screen from dusk till dawn. Oh, Peter Bellotti loves Tom Hanks. It's a serious thing. From Forrest Gump to Sully, he makes his heart sing. Quotes every line, knows every part. Tom Hanks isn't just an actor, he's a piece of his heart. Whether it's Woody or Captain Phillips at the helm, Peter Bellotti's collection's overwhelming, a cinematic realm. Saving Private Ryan,
30
or
seconds
dancing
remaining.
on a giant keyboard. Each film a treasure, deeply adored. When life gets tough and the days are long, Peter Bellotti turns to Tom's films where he feels he belongs.
15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Man, one of the quarterbacks that I'm just so fascinated by heading into the season, Perloff, has got to be Anthony Richardson.
Yep.
I mean, the 4 games that he played in, the team was only 2-2. He barely completed 60% of his passes, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. But if you were watching, he has something. You know, he really does. This is not a guy who played a lot of college football, so you were wondering what could he show in the NFL level. It's electrifying. It's just, can it be harnessed almost to create an actual a great quarterback? But it is exciting to watch.
Oh, yeah. We both saw this video of him running out onto the field yesterday, and it's like, oh, man, that guy just looks like he is a superior football player in every way. He's got
the
a great
evolution of Cam to Josh Allen, now to Anthony Richardson.
Right. He's like Josh Allen. He throws the ball 25 yards downfield on a rope, and it's like looks perfect. Now, you're right. He does not have a lot of evidence in games that he can do this, so they want him to play. But the question is, can he stay healthy?
So here was Shane Steichen, the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, rejecting the notion that the Colts will limit Anthony Richardson's runs.
You know, people ask this too a lot. It's just like, hey, how are you going to limit the run game? And I kind of think like, shoot, are you going to limit Steph Curry from, shooting three-pointers? Well, that's one of Anthony's strengths, right? So we're not going to, get away from that. That's what he does well.
Yeah, fun analogy, but there's no linebacker coming over the middle to take out Steph Curry's knees when he's shooting threes. So the risk is not nearly the same, but I do get it, Perloff. And as somebody who roots for a quarterback in Josh Allen, my team, the Buffalo Bills, you have to sort of accept that this is what makes the quarterback special, and you can't just be living in fear all the time because the Bills have tried to do this 100 different ways. They're going to, limit him running the first 3 quarters of the game and then sort of unleash him in the fourth quarter, trying to keep him healthy. You have something that's unique about your quarterback, which is they can run and they are physical and can use that physicality in their favor. I think I'm with Coach Steichen here. You have to just let them be who they are.
Okay, it's weird to me that Josh Allen has never gotten hurt doing this because Cam Newton, like Anthony Richardson, was this huge target. And eventually, it didn't take long. After that Super Bowl year, remember they played the Denver Broncos, I think in week 1 the following year, and the Broncos are just like, we're going to hit him on every play as hard as we can, and we're going to try and take him out of the game. And that's what the team started doing. So I think the strategy, because I watched a lot of Anthony Richardson last year, it wasn't just that shoulder injury at the end. Like he was getting...
Yeah, he was.
He was going in and out of the lineup. I think there was a knee. Like I thought to myself, wow, he has to slow down. The way... There are certain quarterbacks who know how to get hit. Lamar Jackson is great at avoiding big hits. Robert Griffin Jr. III, as I famously called him, was not great at doing it, and he couldn't slide. So I think you have to be careful. At least teach him how to avoid the big hits.
No doubt. And that hopefully will come. I guess I'm just not in favor of eliminating something that really can be a benefit, right? It's like, But on the flip side, I see what you're saying. Lamar Jackson actually did not run nearly as much this year as he did last year. And they had the number 1 seed in the AFC and had home field advantage throughout the playoffs and probably should have been in the Super Bowl. But anyway.
And then he unleashed it in the divisional round against the Texans, and it was awesome. You can pull it when you need it.
Here's a question for you as I'm saying that the Colts need to just let Anthony Richardson sort of still develop the guy. Like he is a project. He always was going to be a project. But don't take away the thing that does make him special, which is the ability to run. I'm going to say that in one sentence. Then I'm going to say this. If he gets hurt again this year, and let's say he played 4 games last year, say he only plays 3 or 4 games this year, Pearl. Do the Colts have to actually think about finding a new quarterback?
What are you doing?
What are you doing? We're on in Indianapolis. Unfair.
What are you? You just started. The kid's 23 years old.
Okay.
You're already ready to move on?
No, I'm just saying if he gets hurt the first 2 years.
I don't think it matters.
You're now 2 years into the rookie deal. And I hate to make this about money and all of that, but I guarantee the front office is going to make it about this. So then you have to decide on the 5th-year option after 1 season. Okay, maybe you pick that up. Maybe it's a good year. So now you're paying him off of how many games? Like you're just not, if he gets hurt this year and he doesn't play a lot, you're going to have very little to go on when it becomes time to make a major investment. By the time Anthony Richardson's ready for a contract, what do you think the average is going to be? He's going to be making $70 million a year.
Well, you have to at least wait till after his 3rd year, first of all. So he's not even up. He's, by the way, just turned 22. He's not even 23. I think that's ridiculous to even think about. We haven't even seen this guy play. Do you remember what did young Joel Embiid do for the Philadelphia 76ers? He didn't even play his first 2 years, and he became an MVP. I know it's a totally different sport, but I think doesn't make it. I don't think that's fair to bring that up right now.
I'm just saying if he can't show an ability to stay healthy. Look at Tua was playing for his NFL life this year, and that was because of concussions. It was something totally different and super scary. But if Tua had missed games this year, you don't think Miami would be thinking about moving on? It's just about the durability of the quarterback. It's not an indictment on the person, on the player. It's an indictment on, I think I have a franchise guy, but he's never available.
Yeah, but don't you see the difference between Tua and Anthony Richardson?
Right, but whether it's a concussion or whether it's a knee, you're missing time. The long-term effects are way different, clearly. I'm not being callous about that.
No,
I'm just saying, for your purposes as a Colts owner, fan, front office, he's missing games.
Yeah, I don't think it's the same because if Tua was 6'4", 220, and we wouldn't be as worried about concussions. We're worried about Tua because he's small.
Right.
Same reason we're worried about Bryce Young. Same reason we're kind of worried about Kyler Murray. I think Anthony Richardson is totally different. So I don't think you can compare the two. I understand what you're saying. It'd be frustrating. But, I mean, first of all, let's hope he doesn't get injured. There's no guarantee he will. I think that's why, getting back to this, like you have to have him run less. Run in the fourth quarter. Don't run early in the game. Get rid of the ball.
855-212-4227. Your thoughts on, can you harness a guy? As Shane Steichen said, you wouldn't let Steph Curry, prevent him from shooting threes. There is something that makes Anthony Richardson special. Why they drafted him 4th overall was not just about his arm. It was about his ability to run.
They also said, Shane Steichen said, watch out for Jonathan Taylor this season. They are going to feed him the ball. Again, we already forgot. He's just about the best running back in the NFL. So I think you game plan around this issue. You are not going to want Anthony Richardson out in the flat a lot taking hits. I mean, I'm sorry. You're right. You don't want to take away a guy's biggest weapon, but you just paint a scenario that really is not good, where you got 2 years in Anthony Richardson and you have no idea. It happened with San Francisco and Trey Lance, and they moved on really fast. But it's different because they had Brock Purdy. I'm not sure. The Colts are not going to use a first-round pick on a quarterback next year. Especially next year's not a great quarterback draft. And even if Anthony Richardson's hurt, they were 500 last year. I mean, they got a lot of good players there. In that division, they're not going to be number 1 overall.
I know we're talking about the Colts right now, and their quarterback, Anthony Richardson, really electrifying, but only played 4 games last year because he was so hurt and banged up. If he only plays 4 games this year, and you've played 8 games in your first 2 years, do the Colts have to say, sheesh, we might have to actually start looking for a new quarterback or at least somebody to be a plan B? 855-212-4227. You mentioned about the division. That's not a gimme division anymore. It's no longer a one-horse race in that AFC
true.
South.
Right, but there's no San Francisco. There's no 13 or 14 win team unless Houston's that team, and I don't even know if they are. Win total-wise, they're all good, but they're not great. I mean, they're not going to go 3-14. I just cannot see this Colts team doing that with Shane Steichen. First of all, he's great. I think he's a very good coach.
Yeah,
they have a lot of good linemen. They have now some good defensive players. I think there's a lot of good things going on. Heck, Gardner Minshew basically got them the door of the playoff last year without Anthony Richardson. So there's no tanking. And who are you tanking for? Shador? Shador's older than Anthony Richardson right now.
That's college is crazy right now. Okay, you are welcome to weigh in, of course, at 855-212-4227. We also have a bunch of polls that you can vote on at Maggie and Pearl on X. If you are the Dallas Cowboys, who are you paying if you can only pick one? Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, or Micah Parsons? Right now, Micah Parsons leading the pack at 55%, CeeDee Lamb 24%, Dak Prescott 21%. Disagree with those poll results, and you can go vote. Also, our sitcom bracket is down to the final 4. Mm-hmm. The voting will be open all weekend long. Seinfeld, again, early returns, just running away with this. They're facing MASH, that's 2 number 1 seeds, and The Office is a 2 seed, narrowly edging out Cheers right now. That one much, much closer, 52-48%.
Wow. So there's a lot of voting left. I can't vote. I'm currently boxed out of X, whatever, we won't get into it, got hacked. Seinfeld seems like a strong front runner. But then again, we've seen upsets in the NCAA tournament, so you never know.
We still have a lot of ball game left. So you can go to at Maggie and Pearl and you can vote. Yep.
Is the Office the Villanova of this tournament? I mean, there are 2 seeds, so I think Vegas would give Seinfeld, if it faced the Office,
I was going to say they're the UConn of this tournament.
I mean, honestly.
UConn went back-to-back and dominate.
Yeah. I mean, is Dan Hurley the new guest star on Seinfeld? This is crazy.
No. But who's the Office? How big of a Cinderella story is this? Not really.
I don't think so.
As a 2 seed, cannot be a Cinderella.
Totally agree with you. This is going to be a fun one, though, and we're going to do the finals will be on Monday, obviously. We'll open those up. this could just be a walkover for Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Which I thought Seinfeld was losing steam, quite frankly, but apparently I'm wrong.
Oh, I mean, Seinfeld, when they get into streaming, is a huge factor. I mean,
I feel like Seinfeld has the advantage of being like it's super popular, and it's if you're a smart TV person, you love Seinfeld.
Right.
Like I feel like a lot of these shows either it's really popular or like they're for like the quote unquote snarks, like so to speak. Like I think Seinfeld has both things working for them.
Commercial appeal, critical acclaim, kind of a combination of the two.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm looking right now. Seinfeld is currently one of the top 3 most streamed shows in March of 2024. Like, it's still a huge deal.
I know. I mean, this was a show where 90% of the episodes, no one had a cell phone. And it was just a car phone, I think. This is not new. Seinfeld's been around for a while. Anyway, okay, lots more to do, including things are a little too quiet around this one Super Bowl contender.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
So much to get to today, including Dallas Cowboys trying to figure out who to pay first. Is it going to be Dak Prescott? Is it going to be Micah Parsons? Is it going to be CeeDee Lamb? Got Jerry Jones yesterday with a lot of double speak, a lot of Jerry speak, some nonsense, but what I generally took away from it, Perloff, is that it's not inconceivable to think of a world where Dak Prescott is not the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys moving forward after this season. Now, Jerry said nice things about Dak, but then on the flip side also said, I don't always get what I want. And believe it or not, there are things that I can't afford. And then Dak Prescott went on to say, plenty of great quarterbacks have switched teams and done well.
It is so weird to me, too, because they're both there in California. Jerry arrived at camp. And what are they saying to each other? Like, they're both dancing around this contract situation. Dak sent a message yesterday saying, I'm okay if you want to let me play on my final year. I'll just go to free agency. Dak's already gotten paid. And Jerry, it must be awkward for Jerry because he is saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, that, hey, this is not guaranteed. We are not definitely giving you this contract. So I don't know, like, what's it like on a personal level? I can't even imagine.
That's what the Johnny Walker's for. Just really smooth the edges over. And so we have a poll up at Maggie and Pearl on X right now. If you could only pay one, who would it be? Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, or Micah Parsons? The quarterback, the wide receiver, or the pass rusher? You are welcome to weigh in at 855-212-4227. Okay. There's nothing quiet about the Dallas Cowboys. There's always a lot of noise, and we always talk about them because their fan base is from coast to coast. However, there are a couple Super Bowl contenders, Pearl, where it almost feels like things are maybe a little too quiet.
Uh-oh.
So not the 49ers, not the Cowboys, not the New York Jets, not teams like that. But where a team is an actual Super Bowl contender, and it just feels like, for now, things have been very calm, very smooth, and everything's just sort of going along swimmingly.
Ooh.
I'll tell you who mine is.
Yeah, can you go first? I want to set the right bar here.
I think it's the Cleveland Browns. When's the last time the Browns had a training camp this quiet? And listen, you will always have the Deshaun Watson detractors, and rightfully so, because of the things that he was accused of. However, the biggest headline I saw coming out of Browns camp was that Kevin Stefanski is going to continue to call plays. Like, was that even a question? I'm not hearing about holdouts. I'm not hearing about contract stuff. This is the Browns. Like, the Browns generally will step on a rake at any possible moment, and they have not done that so far. And I do think they are a legitimate Super Bowl contender.
Wait, okay, I don't. I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender.
Why not?
Well, just because I'm looking at the odds, they're middle of the pack at 40-1. To be a Super Bowl contender, you're counting on Deshaun Watson to be healthy for 17 games. We have not seen that.
That's true.
In fact, and the other thing too is, like, the rest of the team gets hurt too. I don't know why. Nick Chubb is obviously getting hurt. They just paid Amari Cooper. There seems like there's something in the water there, in the sense that, like, that organization. I know Kevin Stefanski is the coach of the year, but I don't think, like, they have their whole organization buttoned up. So similar reasons. Jerry Jones,
definitely.
Yeah, Jerry Jones has a lot of talent in Dallas, but for some reason, because of slight organizational dysfunction, they can't get over the top. So I have trouble believing that Cleveland's really going to do it.
Oh, I don't think it's slight organizational dysfunction with the Browns. It's nuclear organizational dysfunction that generally follows the Browns. And that's why if this segment is things are just a little too quiet, they would be my pick because they're going to have a top 5 defense. If people are staying healthy, they have a top 5 defense. I think they are capable of having a great offense. You mentioned if with Deshaun, but if it's going to happen, it's probably going to have to be this year, or else they're going to have to move on and look for a new quarterback. So for me, if you're asking which contender, things are just a little too quiet. I guess maybe in a good way, like they're just sort of not flying under the radar, but just sort of, it's just status quo over there. No weird distraction headlines, no drama, no circus, just football.
Okay. I was giving you a hard time on that pick. You're going to give me a hard time on this. Have you seen an ounce of footage, anything from Houston, Texas?
Fair point.
There's a lot of hype. Yep. No, they're everybody's darling.
Yep.
But it seems like there's a lot of harmony. The reason I think that is, that is a situation where they love that coach, DeMeco Ryan. Seems like a player's coach. They love that quarterback, C.J. Stroud. That feels like a nothing to see here. Everything's in harmony kind of team. Everyone knows the talent on the roster. So, and I think when you said a good thing, like you really haven't heard a peep out of Houston. No contract situations. There's new guys there. Everyone seems happy with their role. And I think that has a lot to do with the coach and the quarterback.
I think the coach, the quarterback, and you really can't have a contract controversy yet. You have C.J. Stroud and you have Will Anderson, both just finished their rookie year. There's nowhere to go. And they did right by Stephon Diggs. Like you trade for him, gave him what he wanted, I think, which was to be a free agent at the end of the year.
They cut off the rest of his deal.
Right. He's still getting all of his money.
I haven't
Not a peep.
Where is he?
I told you, he's going to be on his best behavior there, and Stephon Diggs is a value add. I know people like to knock him. I loved him when he was on the Bills. I always thought the stuff between he and Allen was overblown. But you're right. Everything very harmonious with the Houston Texans, and they are definitely a Super Bowl contender.
Tell me about the time frame, though, with Stephon Diggs, a player you know very well as a Bills fan.
Yeah.
It starts out good, and then at a certain point, does he get unhappy, say he doesn't get enough targets? Because there's a lot of other good receivers there. Nico Collins, Tank Dell. Do you think that halfway through the season we could hear something negative from him? That's maybe a little unfair, but we saw him yelling at Josh Allen on the sideline.
Yeah.
Is that a potential pitfall for this team?
I don't think he's going to do anything like that, especially if they're winning. If they're losing, maybe, and he's not getting targets, I could see maybe, but I don't think so. I think he's going to be like the ultimate teammate.
But if he's going to be a free agent, he's going to want to have an 80-catch, 1,200-yard season at minimum.
Yeah, I think you're probably doing that stuff behind the scenes. I don't think you can't be demonstrative, right? So
Got it.
You got to be careful here. Like you're auditioning for the rest of the league or for the Texans. So it's going to have to be a little more, on side fields and practices and da-da-da.
That doesn't really feel like Stephon Diggs I know.
Yeah, I believe it or I know it's maybe hard for some people to believe. I thought he was great when he was at Buffalo. I was upset that they let him go, but or traded him away. But I understand why they had to do it.
Yeah, I like the fit so far, and you're right. He does make a difference. It's a weird offense because there's so many targets to go around. Because they just paid Nico Collins like a number one.
Yeah,
Tank Dell's great. And him, and I think they have Dalton Schultz, and they just got in Joe Mixon, who's also a pass catcher. It's going to be really interesting for C.J. Stroud just to pick apart teams.
The only thing that could possibly, I think, go wrong is either the weight of their own expectations, but I don't think that's going to have it. It's just the schedule is going to get a lot harder.
Big time.
Is it possible that things just go so right for the Texans that they just waltz into the Super Bowl in year 2 of Stroud?
Well, think about, we talked earlier in the show about that Baltimore playoff game. Their offense did nothing.
Yeah.
I think their touchdown was special teams or an interception return. It wasn't. So CJ Stroud, as great as he was, he went against an elite, high-level elite defense, and they figured him out. I thought DeMeco Ryans got outcoached by the Harbaugh team there.
Yep.
So we'll see. You're right. We've anointed teams like this before, Maggie, and it doesn't always work out.
855-212-4227. Super Bowl contenders that are things are just a little too quiet right now. I guess kind of quiet in a good way. EJ, you wanted to weigh in.
I feel like related to the Stephon Diggs combo, I think there's a team that I'm looking at as being very quiet right now, and that's the Buffalo Bills, your team, Maggie. I mean, this is a team where I feel like 2 years ago, they were everybody's Super Bowl pick. Last year, it was, is Stephon Diggs fighting with team reporters? Is he fighting with Josh Allen?
Right.
Is he fighting with McDermott? What are the Bills? What's going on with Von Miller? This year, besides Von Miller, saying I should have quit last year, essentially, we've heard nothing.
Kidding.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a little weird for Buffalo, and I think maybe this is good. Good for them.
I think not being everyone's Super Bowl darling is probably a little, maybe it's good. You go a little under the radar, but once the season starts, I don't think there's going to be anything under the radar about Buffalo. They still have tons of primetime games and all of that. You're right. Last year, Stephon Diggs left training camp, and Sean McDermott, the head coach, said he was very concerned about it. It's like, all right, are we escalating this or are we de-escalating this? And it became a massive story. Everything, I guess compared to seasons past, they're under the radar, and nobody's really going through contract stuff because, quite frankly, they purged a lot of the older players.
Well, they had the Jerry Jones problem. There's some things they just can't afford.
Yeah, well, I think they probably could have found a way to afford to keep Stephon Diggs. They didn't want to.
I did hear a little side note on them that DeMar Hamlin's practicing with the ones. I saw that headline yesterday. Maybe he gets his Comeback Player of the Year award this year, and you can stop complaining about it, Meg.
I will complain about that until someone removes a microphone from in front of my face. But Joe Flacco should have never won that award.
I strongly agree with EJ there. It is interesting. You have Josh Allen. Nobody's going to pick them for the Super Bowl this year, but I still see most people picking them to win the AFC East. It's a weird dichotomy.
How about this for a poll question? Ryan, maybe you can help us out with this. Sorry, I know you're busy back there. Poll question at Maggie and Pearl on X. More likely to happen, Bills in the Super Bowl, Bills miss the playoffs? Because it kind of feels that way.
It's good. It's a good question.
It's a good question. Yeah, I agree. My instinct tells me miss the playoffs.
If you're asking me what's more likely, the odds would be that they would obviously miss the playoffs would be more likely because the Super Bowl is so hard.
Can we do this? All right. There are 3 people on the screen on Infinity Sports Network YouTube page. Can we do my team?
Yeah, go ahead.
Philadelphia Eagles, more likely to miss the playoffs or reach the Super Bowl?
I think you'll reach the Super Bowl. I'm really high on the Eagles.
Okay.
I agree.
EJ Stewart's New York Jets.
I mean, you're
more likely to miss the playoffs. I think of the 3 teams we just mentioned, the Bills, Eagles, and Jets.
Okay, but here's the thing. Do we really think Rodgers is getting hurt 2 years in a row? I don't think so.
40.
Yeah, but so was Brady and Peyton Manning, and I don't know.
But those guys, I mean, Manning had the neck thing, but I mean, Brady, he basically had no serious injuries his entire career. I mean, Rodgers is coming off an Achilles.
I think Jets are probably more likely for Super Bowl. I'm scared of the Jets. Straight up scared.
Wow.
They are tough out. They're just really poorly coached. The idea that Robert Saleh, Nathaniel Hackett brain trust is going to get you to the Super Bowl, even with Rodgers, is just something I can't quite wrap my brain around. But the defense has been really good under Saleh. So I don't know. I don't think he's a smart X's and O's coach. And as for my Bills, it's tough. I still think they're a Super Bowl contender. I can't quit them. So I think all 3 of our teams are in a good spot.
I put the polls out. We'll see what the public thinks. I think they're probably less confident. I think the Jets are more likely to miss the playoffs. I think the Eagles. It's a tough road to the NFC's good again. So I don't know. Hey, I don't share your confidence.
To bring this all back to the Cowboys, where we started this conversation, and you can go vote at Maggie and Pearl. If you could only pay one, or if the Cowboys could only pay one player, who should it be? Dak Prescott, Micah Parsons, or CeeDee Lamb? The Athletic yesterday was fact-checking Jerry Jones's State of the Cowboy address, like it's a State of the Union. Jerry was saying that if they signed all 3, Parsons, CeeDee Lamb, and Dak at the top of the market, it would take 75% of the salary cap up of their space.
Okay.
So that's not true. It'd be barely 50%. And according to the good people at overthecap.com, of the 14 teams with a $40 million quarterback, the Cowboys are just one of 3 without another $20 million player on a multi-year deal, Meanwhile, the Eagles lead the NFL with 5 players who are making $20 million plus and a $40 million quarterback. You guys are all freaking in.
Yeah, that's the real all in, not the Jerry Jones all in, which is actually ironically the all out.
Yeah. Wow, you guys, you better hope you're a Super Bowl contender. What else could you be with spending that kind of money?
How Howie Roseman finds a way to manipulate the salary cap in a way that no other franchise is able to, it still boggles the mind. It's like he's working with an extra $100 million compared to everybody else.
855-212-4227. Okay, coming up, we are scheduled to get an update from Paris. We know there's some scary things going on with the train systems, with the opening ceremonies just a couple hours away. Wanted to try to get a little boots on the ground of what's going on in Paris. So we're going to effort that next. It's Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. Opening ceremonies. The Olympics are set to start in just a few hours, yet we're getting some troubling stories out of Paris about the subway system, the railway system, that it's being disrupted this morning. We want to get a little boots on the ground. Matthew Futterman is a veteran sports journalist who's worked with the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, Philadelphia Inquirer, Perloff, Star Ledger, now writing for The Athletic, and he joins us from France. Matthew, thanks so much for the time. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing great. Thanks so much for joining us. So I don't know if you can shed a little bit more light on what's going on with these rail systems or the subway systems in Paris today.
Yeah, apparently there was some fires. There was some arson, as a suspected arson, and that has disrupted the rail system, especially north of the city. I think the Eurostars are going to be disrupted all weekend. That's the trains that go from Paris to London. And you have some colleagues who are with the U.S. men's basketball team in Lille, and they were supposed to come to Paris today. Their trains are all messed up, so it's unclear how exactly it's all going to pan out. Seems like so far the disruptions have been sort of limited to this arson. There's no other sign of any disruption in Paris at the moment, as far as I know. But yeah, so it's a little disconcerting. A few hours before 300,000 people watch thousands of athletes float down the.
Yeah, Matthew Futterman joining us. He's covering the Olympics in Paris for The Athletic. I have to imagine, security being an issue. Does it feel unsafe for you, boots on the ground?
No, it feels really safe, actually. I mean, it feels pretty empty, strangely, which is a weird thing for Paris to feel empty because it's a very bustling city. But it's, much of the city's life takes place around the Seine, around the river. And that's been sort of cordoned off for the last several days by police and the army and, all sorts of security that's going on. So it's a little weird that, that you go down to that area. You need a special pass. I was running down there yesterday. I was walking over there today, and it's just really sort of devoid of humanity at the moment. In a few hours, it won't be. So hopefully that all goes off without a hitch, and the city gets its river back, and the Olympics go on, and there's lots of life in downtown Paris.
Are athletes thinking about stuff like this? I don't know. I assume they do every Olympic Games, but particularly, I know we say that it seems like there's a lot going on in the world. How much distraction do you expect overall over the next 2 weeks?
No one
politics,
can predict it,
etc.
It's hard to say how the world is going to intervene in sports. It sort of always does. In terms of the athletes being distracted, they're humans like anyone else. They're thinking about things, but they're here to do a job. A lot of them have been training most of their conscious lives to be here in this moment. It's incredibly important for so many of them, and so they are sort of very, very focused on the task at hand, in addition to sort of having a good time, because, these opportunities only roll around once every 4 years. So, you're in one of them. You just don't know whether another one is going to happen again.
Matthew Futterman is joining us. He's covering the Olympics for The Athletic, but a veteran sports journalist. The Times, Wall Street Journal, has written several books as well. All right, Matthew, in terms of storylines that Americans need to be following over the next 2 weeks, obviously we're familiar with the works of, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, et cetera. But are there any other stories that have really grabbed you as the veteran reporter you are that you think the public should know more about?
Well, certainly Simone Biles is, the greatest gymnast ever. She's back. She's competing again. She's competing at an age in her late 20s when most gymnasts have long ago retired. But she's a different sort of being. She's, like I said, far and away the best gymnast in the world. And when when her toes hit the mat, the world watches. So I think that's something huge. I think the women's 100 meters, Sha'Carri Richardson, big star in the making potentially. She's a favorite to win the 100 meters and, become what is known as the fastest woman in the world. She, was on the precipice of that 3 years ago ahead of the Tokyo Games, but had this strange positive test for smoking pot. And, that's a performance-enhancing drug. A lot of people think it shouldn't be considered a performance-enhancing drug. Nevertheless, she had to miss the race in the Olympic trials and wasn't able to compete in Tokyo. So she has waited 3 long years to get another chance. And I think she could really be, sort of a breakout star that if she wins, you're going to be seeing a lot of Sha'Carri Richardson if you haven't already.
Speaking of breakout, what is the new sport that everyone is most excited about? What's going to be the breakout star sport-wise?
I don't know what's going to be the breakout star sport-wise, but certainly a lot of people are talking about breakdancing or breaking, I guess as they call it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm dating myself. It may be a one-hit wonder because it's not on the program for the Los Angeles games, but they've added it here. The Olympics always tries to sort of appeal to new audiences. Someone thought this was going to be a good idea. Maybe it is. It's not really my thing. I'm kind of a traditional stick and ball kind of person. I like races. I like stopwatches, things like that. But if people are going to like breaking, have at it.
Matthew Futterman is joining us, a veteran sports journalist who's covering the Olympic Games in Paris for The Athletic, but has worked for The Times and the Wall Street Journal, Perloff's Philadelphia Inquirer, of course, written several books as well. In terms of, they always try to incorporate the city and like the surroundings into some of the Olympic venues. We know that the opening ceremonies in a couple hours are going to be down the Seine. It's going to be very different than like a traditional stadium. Do you know if there's any other events that we should tune into because the venue themselves is going to be like stunning or something we've never seen before?
Take your pick. The Olympics are really sort of all over this city, and instead of constructing like stadiums and bricks and mortar things that you think about, they just sort of put up bleachers, anywhere and everywhere where they had a big plot of land. So beach volleyball is taking place under the Eiffel Tower. The equestrian competition is taking place in the gardens of Versailles.
Wow.
Breaking, as we talked about before, in 3-on-3 basketball are at Place de la Concorde, one of the most famous spots in all of Paris. So what there's been a real effort to do with these Olympics is instead of sort of cloister them off in an Olympic park in some corner of the city, which, is sort of the model that we've seen for, 100 years or something like that, they've wanted to sort of bring the games to the people. And sure, there are stadiums and you need tickets, but there's a real feel that like these games are going to be happening, in the urban area because they are.
Matthew, we're excited about that. I didn't know the equestrian was happening in the gardens of Versailles. That is very unique. That's not right in Paris. It's a little bit outside, but that's still very, very cool stuff. Thank you so much for doing this. We appreciate it. Definitely stay safe out there. Yeah. Enjoy the opening ceremonies, and I'm sure we'll be having you on again over the next 2 weeks to update us on how the Americans are doing.
Great. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. Matthew Futterman, you can read him covering the Olympics on The Athletic.
Oh, I'm so excited.
The New York Times.
For breaking. I am so excited. How many times have I brought this up? I haven't mentioned the basketball or volleyball or anything. Breaking. I mean, if you guys want me to pop and lock, I'm ready to go. Actually, I'm a terrible break dancer.
You popping and locking would mean smelling salts for everybody. I don't know if we'd be able to survive that. Bogish is here. He's got headlines for us.
Well, much like clicking on a DM from John Rothstein, this feels like a bad idea, but like Perloff, the Raiders did it anyway. Safety Trey Taylor took a Kermit the Frog puppet with a Patrick Mahomes jersey and curly wig from a fan, and he and his teammates had some fun at the expense of the Chiefs QB, who I'll remind you, while speaking oddly or like Kermit at times, is 10-2 career against Vegas/Oakland. Not to mention the Chiefs have won 3 recent Super Bowls and the last 8 AFC West titles. I'd probably leave Patrick Mahomes alone.
You think?
This is the only thing they can win is like some kind of diss. Like this is the only way. This is the only way they get points because they clearly can't score enough of them on the field.
There's a lot of bad ideas around football right now. I think this is the front runner is the worst.
Yeah, it seemed mean too. Like it's not like the guy he can't help his voice. Also, it's working because obviously his huddle can hear him and at the line of scrimmage over the cacophony of Raider fans that are trying to drown him out.
I mean, there's that. There's a here we go, Dak Prescott. Like every quarterback has weird audibles. This is a terrible idea by the Raiders.
Mahomes not the only one who sounds like Kermit, by the way. Not the only athlete.
No, Mahomes is the ultimate.
The ultimate.
He's number one.
Garrett Cole. If you're a Yankee fan, take my word for it.
But he doesn't count.
Okay.
Because half America doesn't know who he is. The Mets do, though. Justin Jefferson got paid. CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase still waiting. The Bengal receiver is at training camp but hasn't practiced the last 2 days. When asked if his absence was contract related, Chase said no comment. And the Lions now have every reason to go for every 4th down because kicker Michael Badgley expected to miss the season with a reported torn hamstring suffered getting ready for training camp practice.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wait, did you see yesterday, not to move on too quickly from that? That stinks. Did you see who was at the Lions practice yesterday?
It did. Hulk.
No, I did not.
Say it again.
Hulk.
Big week for him.
Who did you think I was going to say? I did not.
Well, I'm the one who linked Drew Aller and Sidney Sweeney. I thought it was some babe.
Wait a minute. Do we have the audio? Can we hear? Pete, I know that this is up your alley. Cut 18. Sorry, Bogus, just step on your update here. But we have Hulk Hogan with Dan Campbell at Lions camp.
Yo, maniacs, Hulk Hogan here, the greatest of all time, and my new tag team partner, Campbell Mania brother, is going to run wild this year. Super Bowl, nothing but greatness, nothing but victory. So what you going to do when the Detroit Lions in Campbell Mania runs wild on you, brother? What you going to do?
I bet he could do that in his sleep. I bet there's some kind of, like, switch, obviously, that Hulk Hogan can do. I bet he could do that on anything, at any time, anywhere. He could deliver the exact same thing.
There's your first Radio Row guest.
What's that? What'd you say?
There's your first Radio Row guest.
Yikes.
But like, is there a scenario where he's actually excited to do it, or is this all numb, dead inside emotion from Hulk?
That's a Pete Pilati question. You know Hulk better than any of us.
No, I think it's cha-ching.
Yeah. Like
the next check.
Yeah. I think him and Ric Flair, they can show up and they can just do this. Like, I bet they don't even know.
Yeah. That's how they make their money.
It's like, hey, I want you to do, now I want you to do Pete Pilati. It's like, all right, Pilati Mania. You can just do it. It's not even a skill anymore. It's just robotic.
It's a shell and do the shell at every location.
Pete, if I got Hulk to do that for you, not promising him physically next to you like Dan Campbell yesterday, but if I had Hulk record a Pilati message, would that be the greatest gift anyone's ever given you?
It'd be a good gift.
Okay.
Not the greatest thing ever.
Okay, I get it. You have kids, blah, blah, blah. But like
blah, blah.
Yeah, you don't have.
Like a Met World Series, you know?
You'd want that first.
I'd want that first.
Not just going to a game, because I've done that before, and it didn't end well.
I would want to go to the Game 7 where they win.
Got it.
Okay.
No, I get that. Is the Hulk on Cameo? Could we get him?
I'm sure he is.
Probably a lot of money.
Yeah, I believe he says
certain.
yes.
He might be. P has a good point. He might be expensive though.
I'm sure.
Is there like
There's
some
three of
tomato
us.
can wrestler we can get, like Rene the Hand Goulet when I was a kid?
Well, he's no longer with
Is he a
us.
hockey
but-
player?
I don't. S.C. Jones still around?
Nope.
You want to keep playing this game?
Don't
I'm
go
going to
to
tell you,
Elizabeth?
it's going to get real depressing. Naming
I don't wanna
old
know.
wrestlers
But
and
yeah,
asking
what
if they're
happened to
still
them?
alive is not the fun game you want to play.
The original Ultimate Warrior?
No.
No.
Oh, you mean James Laurinaitis' father? Yeah.
No, he's not here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brooklyn Roller.
Yeah, Steve Lombardi. There you go.
I mean, my
Okay,
favorite
there you
thing
go.
is like Andre the Giant will go against Steve Smith, like some generic name. Like he's got like one like thing around. He's got a god.
That's a Saturday morning special.
Oh yeah. I mean, gigantic.
How do you think Andre stayed undefeated for like 15 years? He has scheduled like an SEC school in non-conference play.
I think there's another reason, EJ.
Oh, okay, Maggie.
Sorry.
You gonna drop the F word now, Maggie?
I'm.
This
thought you
time
were
in the
gonna-
morning.
I thought Maggie was saying because he's so big, no one can beat him, and then I just thought to be that.
Yes, he is.
As he
It's because
keeps
he's
winning
big
matches.
and strong, and he only fights the worst wrestlers, Maggie. That's the only reason.
Yes, that's the reason. What else we got, folks?
Canadian Olympic officials do not believe any players knew, but women's soccer coach Bev Priestman did know that drones were being used to spy on opponents' practices.
Change the
Priestman
plays.
has been sent home from France after initially being suspended after New Zealand reported the suspicious drone earlier this week in Paris. There are reports that the women's and the men's team have been doing this for a few years. The Atlanta Braves could have beaten the Mets last night, but they did. New York went home with a 3-2 10-inning win because Ramon Laureano overran a Jeff McNeil fly into the right field line. It should have been the third out of the inning. Instead, it fell in for an RBI game-ending single.
Should have cut that ball. No excuses. Let the team down today, for sure, and got to move on.
Now, in the top of the 10th inning, Laureano was on third with one out, broke for home when Jared Kelnick showed bunt, but he didn't bunt, and Laureano was thrown out in a rundown. Manager Brian Snitker taking no blame for that.
I don't know what that was, quite honestly. You're going to have to ask them. I didn't have anything on.
He then called it unacceptable. His team has dropped 5 in a row, 8 of 11. They're just a half game better than these Mets for the top NL wildcard spot. Before last night's 6-5 win in Anaheim, A's manager Mark Kotsay confirmed that all-star closer Mason Miller broke his left pinky, slamming his hand on a table Monday after being reminded he had a post-game weightlifting session. Miller's agent had said his client got hurt while working out, but the A's said, "We don't lie around here. This is actually what happens."
Yeah, that's false. The A's tell plenty of lies. Some I can think of.
Well, that's ownership.
We love Oklahoma.
Oakland.
We love Oakland. That's one of the number one lies.
Yes, right. We love you, Oakland. That's a lie.
Next year, they will say they're the Oakland A's. That's a lie. They'll be Sacramento.
Yeah, right. That's also a lie. So that's 2. Yeah, he was told that he had to get a workout in.
Yeah.
And so he slammed his fist down.
And broke his left pinky. Now, he'll eventually pitch with it like in some kind of cast, but he's on the IL now. And yes, pissed about working out, punched a table, has a broken finger.
You're a professional athlete. What did he think? He was going to get to go to Hooters after the game and get drunk and eat chicken wings?
I'm more worried, he can break his left hand on a table? How hard is he punching that thing?
Probably. He really clearly didn't want to lift weights.
That happens. Yeah.
Baseball injuries. That's
be sturdier.
The flutiest.
I was drunk and I didn't get hurt last night.
Well, that's probably why.
I did
Your
hit a
body
kid.
was all relaxed.
EJ, we never thought about that. I know you're not a drinker, but had you been sauced, maybe you never would have broke your knee. Torn it up.
Maybe it's true.
Yeah, maybe you wouldn't have stolen third with one out, which analytically was not the right move anyway.
Oh no! If I was hammered, I would have been trying to do a little league home run. I would have been going all around those bases.
Cartwheels to third.
Yeah.
The Cabbage Patch home.
The Mariners not waiting till next week's trade deadline, sending 2 prospects to Tampa Bay for outfielder Randy Arozarena. Seattle once led the AL West by 10 games, but is now 1 game behind the Astros. And F1 points leader Max Verstappen facing a 10-spot starting penalty for Sunday's race in Belgium because his car got another new engine this week, exceeding the season limit. Guys, back to you.
Bogusch, thank you so much. Coming up, we got a special treat. We have a comedian who just flew into town that we weren't sure was actually going to make it to the show. Yes, his wings are tired. Thank you, Bogusch. This is why he's the comedian and you're not.
I liked it.
Malik B is with us next. Very, very funny LA comedian. We'll talk to him next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
All right, I don't know how our next guest got here. Do you travel through time and space? Malik B, the comedian, is here. You're on tour right now. We absolutely love your comedy on Instagram and on TikTok. You do these hilarious skits about what it's like basically to be like a single man in LA. And it's beyond. It's funny for men, for women. Everyone gets a kick out of it. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
How did you landed 5 seconds ago. Now you're here. We're so grateful. You and Perloff were just talking. The big story in the show today is Perloff got his social media account hacked today, and you weren't buying it.
I wasn't. At first, I see this all the time where, I got hacked, and it's some crazy stuff like, hold on, you accidentally liked that porn video. Like, wait, you caught me? And then I was hacked, or nah, but you sound sincere. Yes. I hear the disappointment in your voice.
No, terrifying. I don't know if you ever had your identity threatened at all. It is the worst feeling.
I know. Man, you're complaining about it all morning to let people know, like, yo, this literally, I got hacked.
What if someone took over your IG account and sent out unfunny jokes or something? That would be terrible for you.
They did.
Did.
They actually, I got hacked earlier in my Instagram days, but it literally locked me out. That's how I thought, like, they sent you some, like, a request, like a Cash App request on WhatsApp. Okay. Like, you want your account back? We'll give me $250. I was like, for one, start higher. Okay, I have a lot of followers on IG. You're selling yourself short. But I had my manager reach out to Instagram. And they were like, "Don't do that again," because I thought at the time being verified with the blue check, I wanted those so bad. I wanted a blue check. Yep. They're like, "Bro, I think I was like at 150,000." They were like, "Bro, you can get a blue check." I said, "Okay." And Russian, just like you, not paying attention. They're like, "You want to be verified?" I was like, "Yeah," but they spelled verified wrong. Oh, that should have been. All my friends was like, "Bro, just look at the email." I was like, "Oh, I didn't know." Yeah,
gosh, I feel so much better now, Maggie.
Yes, it happens to everybody.
Happens to all the greats.
It doesn't mean you were watching porn.
We didn't say all that.
No. Maybe yes. Was I watching some adult content? Yeah, yes, but it has nothing to do with this.
Malik B is here. Yes. He's on tour right now. You're going to be playing New York, obviously. Yes. That's why you're in town. Moving on to St. Louis, then Oklahoma City, Baltimore, Tacoma, Washington, Chicago, just to name the next couple stops. And that's going to be fantastic. You are based in LA, grew up in LA. What do you think of JJ Redick now being the head coach of your Los Angeles Lakers?
LeBron James, you got to be stopped. Okay? I love JJ, but he only coached a fourth grade basketball team. I mean, this is the Los Angeles Lakers. We're a dynasty. I know I'm in New York Knicks, Knicks mania, but let's talk about like championships. Lakers, we don't like losing. Okay, we are a city of champions, and if we start continue to lose, and then we got his son, LeBron's son, on the team. You know what LeBron James is to the Lakers? It's like a stepdad that you gotta like, but you don't really like him. You know what I mean? Because Kobe was our father, and then LeBron James came. I was like, man, what you doing with my mama? But he's good though. He treats her right. I was like, all right, I guess I like him. You know, I play PlayStation with him. That's how LeBron James is to the Lakers.
Yeah,
but he's bringing his stepson with him. Now you got Bronny in the house.
Now I got his family. Now he's moving his whole family in. I said, hold on, I just accepted you. Now you bring your family in? Nah, that's disrespect. Get a ring first. Now, a lot of people say that the bubble was like, nah, that's a fluke. I don't count the bubble.
Thank you.
I don't count it. Lakers fan, you don't count it.
Yeah, a lot of my Laker fans was like, bro, you traitor. I was like, no, I don't count it because I wasn't there to celebrate. I want to be there. And I understand it was so hard to win in the bubble. But I want to celebrate. I didn't go to the parade. I didn't do anything. So it felt like, it's not a.
It's like a disconnect. I love that LeBron is like this stepfather. Reluctantly, you have to like because like it's not like he's disrespecting your mom.
Thank you.
Suddenly he's got opinions on everything, like who should be the head coach of the team or whatever. And now his son's all up in it. And Malik B is here, comedian based out of LA. are you going to be watching Team USA in the Olympics? You came in wearing a sweatshirt that says Paris. Are you
I'm ready.
being in the Olympics?
I'm a big yes, of course. I feel like a couple of years ago, I forget the guy's name, the track player.
Usain Bolt?
No, you remember the guy? It was like Lyles.
Noah Lyles. He's back. Yeah, he's a favorite now.
He's back.
Yeah.
He was talking crazy about our basketball team. My beloved, and I love beloved basketball. He was like, y'all champions of what? Not world champions.
Oh.
You remember that?
Yes.
And LeBron and a lot of the NBA players was like, who is this guy? You know what I mean? Who is this guy talking? So they got they got the squad, KD, AD, LeBron, Steph. I love Ant. I'm a big fan of Anthony Edwards. We have a whole squad, and I mean, we dominating. I'm excited.
I don't know.
Wait,
vulnerable in the exhibitions.
Man, you know how you just pull up to the stadium and you look around. You're like, man, you know what? This is just you look at the other end and they're missing layups. You're like, we can try some, new plays, and they're just playing around. But you saw what happened in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, LeBron took over.
Okay, well, that's all. But
that was an exhibition against Australia. I mean, come on. The other teams are going to bring their A game. We saw a stat. There are 66 NBA players. The Dream Team beat up on 12 NBA players.
I thought it was 9.
Oh, okay, whatever.
Hold on. Give us a credit.
You're a comedian. I'm the sports guy.
Oh, my bad. I apologize.
Yeah. But regardless, so there's a lot more talent out there. So that's the only thing that makes me a little nervous.
You think we're not coming home with the gold?
I'm not ready to go there
yet. He's rooting for Team Canada. Malik B is here with us in studio. Perloff has defected and is now rooting for Canada.
Maggie, why are you letting this happen?
That's
right in front of you.
I just said, listen, you want to be a traitor to this country? I'm just going to sit over here draped in the flag.
Well, I mean, is rooting for Canada really? I mean, isn't Canada really part of the U.S. at the end of the day?
A little bit. It's like our little stepsister.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, love him. Jamal Murray, love him.
Okay.
Kelly Olynyk, can't leave him open from 3. Okay. I mean, I could go down this list.
Yeah. And who else? One more.
Bennett Mathurin, hurt.
You want to give R.J. Barrett? I don't think you wanted to go there.
Who are the other guys? There's a whole team of NBA guys on
Canada.
And
you think Canada...
No, I don't think so, but I do think the problem with America is they have to play everybody for 20 minutes. So, they keep on it's like an all-star game. So it's not like their A game. You got to tighten the rotation to 7 guys if you're Steve Kerr.
Do you like Steve Kerr as a head coach?
I do.
Do you like Eric Spoelstra as an assistant coach?
He's not bad.
Okay. So we have the coaching. So wait, hold on. I don't know what's going on, but okay.
You're convincing him now.
I'm trying to convince him. So head coaches out there in the world, who's the best?
Right now, Popovich or like
I'm talking about right now in the Olympics.
Yeah, Steve Kerr.
Okay, so we have the coaches. So coaching is USA.
Yeah.
Okay, now we have players.
We do.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
You listed a couple of young guys.
Yeah.
We have vets and we have young guys. Who has the better roster than the USA right now?
Well, nobody. No.
Okay, so we have coaching and we have players.
Are you sure? Right? You should have been a lawyer.
I'm literally asking a question.
Okay, our
executive
producer, EJ Stewart, keeps telling me the system was run better under Coach K and that they have not practiced together. And this particular Olympic team has been thrown together.
Yeah, but we have chemistry off the court. You have to understand, if I like you outside or in the workspace and outside of the workspace, I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to flow to you. I'm going to have better chemistry.
Right.
But if I don't like you, and I'm like, we got to practice. I got to practice. Perla, God, he getting his account hacked. He making us look bad. God, you know what I mean? But I come with a joy, and it was a clip I saw this morning. Anthony Edwards and KD. KD is helping Anthony Edwards with his jump shot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's going to come back to bite him.
That's trouble. That's trouble.
I would not do that. I would not be telling Anthony Edwards anything. No, Perloff was in a movie with Anthony Edwards in the movie Hustle.
Hustle?
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations.
I had one line.
Oh,
but
hey,
I got to tell you,
lines.
We could be friends, but are you going to pass me the ball if I send you a DM that ruins your entire Instagram account?
That's a great question. I would not. Yes.
We only have a little bit over a minute left. Okay. I said Malik B is here with us in studio. If you want to check him out in person, tell him where you can find the rest of the tour dates, Malik. I was looking at him on Instagram.
Oh, yeah, yes. Tonight, I am at St. Mark's Comedy Club. That's Friday. And the Comedy Strip tonight at 11 p.m. And tomorrow, I'm in the Boogie Down Bronx and the Soho House. That's tomorrow.
Fancy.
So I'm a busy schedule in New York. And Sunday, I'm in Baltimore at Magooby's Comedy Club.
Are you going to say nice things about the Knicks to these people?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I hate when teams are doing better than the Lakers.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I gotta talk crazy.
How about the Ravens out in Baltimore? You could say something nice about that.
I love the Ravens. I like the Ravens. I feel like, Patrick Mahomes is going to win like 8 more championships over there, but then they're going to have their time.
I know. I've said Mahomes is like Michael Jordan. He's going to keep a lot of guys from winning. And I said that a year and a half ago, and people were like, "You're crazy."
You called it, Maggie. My God!
You guys would be great Olympic teammates. I'm definitely going to be on the Canada team.
You can check out Malik B. He's Malik B. Malik B. All over Instagram. How you come up with these skits, I don't know. And it's pure brilliance. What it's like being a single man, a dating man in Los Angeles. This is like it's comedy and also like a user guide.
Yes, I agree. Just follow my tutorial on all my platforms and social media. Malik Bazille. On all platforms.
Malik, come back and see us again.
I will.
Or hit us on Zoom too, because this is too fun. We ran out of time. Thank you. Thank you,
thanks,
Brian
Maggie.
Botcher, to Pete Bellotti, to EJ Stewart, to Andrew Bogish, Andrew Kaplan, Weedos, Coffee Drinkers. We'll see you Monday.